DJ House Thing, sound kind of special.
folks. Sam Santo, LIBERIA Public Radio. I want to thank all of you again tonight for joining us. It's a wonderful, wonderful program here tonight. We're going to be very shortly be joining Mike Dime, who brought you the wonderful show today on LPR, to give us his own understanding of what's happening in Liberia. We're questioning to have a conversation with him here live. And we want to make sure we have a understanding of what's happening. So just briefly, the way I start my show as usual, I'll just go ahead and show Dr. Weah, President of the Republic of Liberia, duly elected President of the Republic of Liberia. Folks, we're not going to fool around this one here this afternoon. Folks, that is Dr. Weah, President of the Republic of Liberia, and that's all we're going to show tonight. We're not going to be showing you the rest of the stuff because we have with us here Mike, who is all the way from Liberia this evening. As you know, it's kind of late over there, so we'll just get ready to start here. Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Tu. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, all right. So I can hear you as well. I'm hoping that my audience will be able to hear you. So let me try something. Can you still hear me? No. Can you hear me? No. All right. What's about now, Mike?
Moreover is quiet.
Okay. All right. Okay. We're coming. Okay. Thank you, folks. The audience is fine. I think we're doing our best on that. Hopefully, we'll be able to move it up. That's Mike Down, of course. But the lighting condition in Monrovia right now is not as conducive as we would like to. So we just put it together. He was in the street earlier today, and it's late over there, so we're not going to keep him here that long either. Mike, can you still hear me?
Yes, I'm getting you, Mr. Tu. I'm getting you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome on LIBERIA Public Radio. Sam Sinto here. Of course, you've been reporting late this evening. We say thank you very much. Your reporting was very clear. The audio, the sound system was very, very good. And we want to thank you very much for your effort. I know you guys are doing this thing with no money coming in from the CEO and the manager and things like that. So we all, not paying you and things like that, but no, on a very serious note, Mike. I know you've been with LPR for a very long time, and you've been doing a wonderful, wonderful job. It's not all about money, but the CEO and LPR continue to do things to bring you guys up. So let me just say thank you very much. You and your crew, you guys continue to do a wonderful job. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. Also, thanks to the management team there in the U.S., the board of directors, and others who have been making sure that with their meager resources, have been making sure that we on ground here can be supported one way or the other. So we also, in return, say thank you. A big thanks to you guys for all of what you continue to do. This is our own way of contributing to the democracy of our country. So despite the condition, we will continue to do it. We will continue to contribute our meager effort in ensuring that the democracy of our country is maintained and preserved. So this is what we're in the business of doing, Mr. Tu.
Thank you very much. I don't intend to keep you here tonight that long. Folks, you will be hearing echo when I'm talking, about when Mike is talking. Most likely, you're not going to be able to hear the echo, and I'm trying to work on that. But that's not that important right now. Mike, I know today was the protest for the CPO, COP, whatever they call themselves. I think it was a wonderful thing from the beginning. But what do you have to tell? What can you tell us more about this starting of the day to the end that you know of?
Well, the protest started today with few handful of people, mainly young people in central Monrovia. Later, the groups, there were two groups at first from the start of the whole protest, one coming from the Sincor belt, headed by District Number 10 Representative Yeke Koluba. And then another group that was headed by Mr. Henry Costa, who is the head of the transportation. Both groups met today at the Capitol building. There where the crowd started to build up. And as the crowd built up, there were slogans that were sung. People were saying they're going to sleep on the street until President George Weah can address their plight. Mind you, they are saying that President Weah should address their plight, should address counts that are contained in the June 7 protest, in the June 7 petition they presented to the government of Liberia on June 7, 2019, that uh, ranging from corruption, nepotism, bad governance, and so forth. So the president, they are calling the president to address those counts. This is why, again, they were in the streets today.
I see.
I see.
So
So
while they were
while they
in the
were in the
street,
street,
some of us
some of
started
us started
watching this
watching this
very
in
early
very
this
early
morning.
this
In
morning.
fact, I
I
got
got
up
up
around about
around about
2:30 my
2:30 my
time,
time,
which most
which
likely
most
would be
likely
like
would be like
maybe
maybe
8, 9
8,
o'clock
9 o'clock
Liberian time.
Liberian time.
But it
But
seemed
it
like
seemed
things
like
was
things
going
was going
well.
well.
The
The
protesters, they were
protesters, they
on
were on
ground,
ground,
peaceful it
peaceful
looked
it
like,
looked like,
and you could
and you
tell me
could
if
tell
I'm
me if
wrong.
I'm wrong.
But
But
it seemed to be a
seemed to be a
peaceful from the
peaceful from the
government
government
side.
side.
They were
They were
allowing the
allowing the
protester to
protester
walk
to walk
freely.
freely.
There was
There
no
was no
hindrance from the
hindrance from the
government side.
government
Things were
side. Things
going
were
well.
going well.
What
What
happened?
happened?
What went
What
wrong?
went wrong?
Well, initially it started on a peaceful note, like you said, Samson, at the Capitol. I mean, at the Capitol bypass, where we firstly started following the protesters. Things were very much peaceful. We saw young people, meaning, saying that they're going to sleep on the streets until the president can provide redress to their plight. And then they move up to the Capitol building where the huge crowd was seen. Later on, during the afternoon hour, there were cooking utensils. There were also or sleeping materials that were taken to the Capitol building. And then on that note, the president, we got information that the president said that people should not sleep on the street, and so that's how the police started to fire tear gas to break up the crowd. In that, there were few arrests made, and also few people got wounded in the process, sustained wounds in the process when the tear gas was fired among us, because we were also on the scene when they fired the tear gas at the Capitol building. Even the United Nations Human Rights Commission people were also there when the tear gas was fired. Later on, they too were asking, why is it that the police have to fire the tear gas among peaceful protesters? So this is how things started to move. I mean, to be heter scatter when protesters too started to retaliate by throwing stones at the police, and then police returned that with tear gas.
I see.
I see.
So when
When
they,
they,
as you
as you
correctly
correctly
stated, the
stated, the
president
president
said
said
nobody should be
nobody should be
sleeping in the
sleeping in the
street.
street.
Would that
Would that
message
message
pass on
pass
to
on
the
to the
protester, their
protesters
heads, to
ahead to
say
say
the
the
president
president
who has
who has
agreed for
agreed
you
for
guys
you
to
guys to
protest
protest
freely
freely
have
have
asked that
asked
people
that
don't
people
sleep
don't
in the
sleep
street?
in the
Was that
street? Was that
message
message
passed on
passed on
before the
before the
action
action
took
took
place?
place?
No, there were no action. I mean, there were no message given to the protesters that they should not sleep in the street, because they have said that the president should come and address their cons. The cons contained in the June 7th petition. The president should come and address it. If the president does not come or does not go and address their plight, they were going to remain on the street. That's why you saw mattresses and some sleeping materials were taken to the grounds of the Capitol building, a sign of them sleeping on the streets. So that got the police annoyed, and then we are not independently, we are yet to independently verify as to whether the order that police would break up the crowd came from the president. But police inspector general 1 or 2, I mean, deputy inspector general was also there, and before the order was given.
But from
But
your
from
own
your own
understanding,
understanding,
when the
when the
protester
protester
decided to
decided to
start the
start the
protest this
protest this
morning,
morning,
was there
was
any
there
kinds
any
of
kinds of
leaflet from the
leaflet from the
protester passed
protester
on to the
passed on to the
press
press
to
to
enumerate some of
enumerate
their
some of the
activities of the
activities of
day?
the day?
No, they were not released given to the press prior to the start of the protest. because they are said that they were given permit by the Ministry of Justice that they should protest, and counts that were contained in their petition was the president to come and address them. They were calling on the president to come and address them. So even this morning, when we spoke to the head of the protester, Mr. Henry Foster, he has said that the protest, if the president were to go and just address them earlier this morning, the things couldn't have gone headed scatter like the way we saw things later this afternoon. So one of their only point was the president should come and address them. I mean those points that contain in their petition.
I see. Folks, Mike, there are some people that are making some comment here that I don't quite care to talk about. How long have you been in this business?
Well, I have been a journalist in Liberia since 13 years now.
Before coming to LPR, can you tell us what other places that you have worked?
I have, before coming to Liberia Public Radio, I practiced with LBS as a high school reporter in 2006, 2007. Later on, when I graduated from high school, I went to journalism school, and then from there I went to the university, the African Methodist Episcopal University, and also did some training as well. I also reported for other outlets outside of Liberia. For example, Mugabe Forest. I've been a regular contributor to Mugabe Forest since 2016. Mugabe Forest, an online environmental media group based in California.
I see. Do you have any kinds of some sort of a contact or friendly relationship with either the government or the COP?
Absolutely no. I don't have any contact with any of them. Though I have some friends, I have some people that I do know personally in government, but reporting on as it relates to my journalistic duty, I don't compromise my relationship with reporting. So maybe people who have been following me in Liberia can admit to this. I also contributed to Deutsche Welle Radio on so many occasions with my independent opinion and so forth. So this is not a new hair in the business.
Thank you. I just thought that I'd bring that up because my listener, there are some who are now trying to take out the route that perhaps I'm not too comfortable, but I don't want to come out here while you're here and try to say, defend LPR personality, but I have the right to do that when we bring LPR personality on. We expect people to be respectful to them, but I'm not going to deal with those people right now. Let's go on into, but I just want you to lay it out so that people will know that there's no biases whatever coming out from you or from me here tonight. But we have our right to be opinionistic anyway, so I'm not worried about that. But let me ask you this other question, Mike. There was no information from the police to say some people are tending to sleep here and have conversation with COP leadership and what have you. So how was the process itself? Was it some sort of a broad? People just started spraying tear gas and things like that? How did it start? What was the process?
Well, when the protests started, things were peaceful, like I said from the initial stage, Mr. To, and the police were controlling the crowd, ensuring that people don't go helter-skelter. It was later in the afternoon hour when this issue of tear gas came to being. When the tear gas started to be fired, and then protesters too started to throw stones. Some protesters, let me quantify it. Some protesters, mainly young people, started to throw stones at the police. Later on, the police returned out with tear gas. But it was the police first that fired tear gas to break up the crowd.
So
and cases
when the
like
police fire when the police fires the tear gas, according to you, there were some other foreigners from the UN diplomatic corps were present.
yeah, definitely the
Were
UN
they?
High Commission on Human Rights, some officials from there were present, and some were affected by the tear gas, including some journalists who were also with us there. They were also affected by the tear gas that was fired in the air.
Were they able to express their concern to the government people that were present, the police that were present, whatsoever, or there was nothing?
Well, they were, according to government, to sit and talk with the protesters instead of shooting tear gas, for example. The UN High Commission on Human Rights was saying that this situation, the only way is both government and the protesters should come together to have a conversation.
I see. So earlier today, you were at the press conference for COP, where they were able to announce their displeasure as far as the things what happened to them today. So, what were some of the things that you learned from that protest? I mean, from that press conference that you yourself were not able to glean at the protest ground?
Well, my question to the head of the COP, Mr. Henry Costa, which was live broadcast on this network, uh, Mr. Costa has said that they will continue to be engaged with the both government and other international partners. So they are not relenting. They will not relent until President Weah provide answers to some of the cons they have in their petition presented to the president. So, for example, Costa also accused the government of mastermind manipulating things that to show the ugly side of the representative district number 10, whose car gun was found in. So they are saying he also said that this was a mastermind act on the part of the government. Honorable Yeke
Mike,
Kolobang.
just hold on 1 minute. Let me deal with this fool on my network here. I can stupid right now. Let me just tell you guys, if you can't take what we're talking about, we're not begging you to come here. Number one. Secondly, we those of us that are with LPR, we don't need no money from the government. If anything, it's the government that have been begging for people to work for them. I don't want to work for the government. They got nothing to pay me. Don't come out here and act stupid on my show. If you know you're nobody, have nothing to offer, you shut up and get off my show. Because this is ridiculous now. We brought somebody on to enlighten us. All of us. None of you were over there today. And this is a man, you saw him broadcasting twice. And we just brought him on to try and enlighten us. And you're going to be here acting stupid, making comments that, are you sure they don't do this? But this is just ridiculous. Okay? Right now, you know what time they say in Liberia? And he's taking upon his time to come and enlighten us. If he's lying, bring somebody on that will tell you what you think the truth is. You're going to stay here and continue to insult my guests? Are you stupid or what? Samson told. Mike, I'm not going to address them anymore. They know now that I'm not going to put up with foolishness, so I'm not going to address them anymore. Please continue to help us out.
We are not surprised of it because and in Liberia, when you are not blackmailing, when you stand for the truth, you are taken for granted. So this is not I mean any surprise, Mr. Tool. So
Okay.
like I said, the head of the COP, Mr. Costa, has said that, for example, today that the government masterminded want to manipulate things. So there was information that gun was found in the vehicle of Representative Yeke Kolba, who is also a member of the COP. In the interview, I mean, at a press conference just this evening, Mr. Costa has said that that this was just pure mastermind acts on the part of the government. Yeke in person will not expose gun in his car to just be lying on his car floor.
Right.
So this was he's calling on the president. I mean, in fact, on the police to do public apology to Yeke Koluba.
Okay. All right, Mike, just sit tight, please. We got more questions. There's something that's going on my side here. I want to go take care of it very quick. But in the meantime, let me just play Dr. Weah video as he walk in the mud of Liberia. I'm not too sure if that place has been fixed. Please sit tight. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Just make sure you do that same thing for you can hold. Yeah, we hold the stay. No, I don't need shoulder go. I need my stay. What kind of junior not there before? No, I beg you.
Okay, so the idea. So let's go back now. I'm gonna try to inject some of my own personal belief here as well. From the perspective, from what everything that you have looked at, you think who's really benefiting in terms of the public relations aspect of this thing?
Well, I mean, I cannot regularly say who is benefiting in terms of public relation, but public relation wise, it have been much difficult on the part of the government because the way information is flowing. I mean, when you do public relation, this is not the way it's supposed to be. There are so many people who say things that they are not responsible to say. For example, instead of the minister saying that they should go and that government should negotiate with protesters, he's saying that they should just go and protest. I mean, this is not a good way to to do public relation, but rather they should be saying they should find a remedy, but they are not finding any remedy to this situation, and the government is always in the news. I mean, the public relation team for the government is not actually working when it comes to publicity or public relation for the government. So government, on the other hand, is suffering. Is not benefiting much for when it comes to public relation.
I see. I know this is difficult for all of us, especially those of us that in the city. So how is the city right now as we speak? Is it vibrant, people moving around, or you think it's a little bit kind of scary right now?
Well, it was just a few hours ago because currently it's 15 past 11 in the evening here in Monrovia. It was just but it was just 5 this evening when we saw traffic moving smoothly all around. But throughout today, we have been moving around. We have our motorbike that we were moving on around Monrovia. Many of the streets that we saw were partially emptied and some completely empty, in fact, at a certain point in time, especially around the Cinco Belt. There were many businesses that remain closed, that were not open today. Other parts of Central Monrovia as well, businesses were not open. People were sitting home to see what will happen.
I see.
But right now, is a bit quiet, not happy really, and some are saying because of the economic situation. Also, people have been observing this day. Uh, just last week, Monday on the 30th, similar situation. Protest was expected, but it didn't hold, and people again were at their various homes, making sure that they observe the process home.
I see. Again, folks, if you're listening, Samson told LeBron Public Radio. That's Mike Dunn, who is the chief of LeBron Public Radio Liberia as well. You saw him this evening, broadcasting live, narrating what was happening. And this young man is well respected in Liberia. And I have seen him at work, so I know. But Mike, let's go a little bit more before I take leave of you. You're a young man. You can stay out 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. No big deal. If your wife don't mind that. But let's go a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the whole stuff. So tell me more about the protest ground itself. Until the violent or aspect came to play, what was the atmosphere? What was the mood of the crowd? What was some of the things that you observed from the government security apparatus? I know they were not bothering anybody, but what was some of the things? Were they kind of jubilant in some of the comments being made by the protester, or they were just all business?
There were instructions on posters that the protesters were holding. For example, some were saying the Minister of Finance and the Government Plan, she resigned. Samuel 12 stepped down. We will sleep. We will sleep if prayer does not come. Those were slogans that they have on their posters. They have, but at the start of the process, they were very much peaceful. At one point in time, at one we saw protesters reporting one somebody who was trying to cause confusion. They reported that in particular individual to the police because they were saying that it was peaceful and they were launching uh, rhetoric at the executive June there, where the protesters were standing and the police were standing on the other side. So it was very peaceful start of things. Uh,
But is it all because of the protesters were cooking and said they're going to sleep in the street? Is that what aggravated the police or the government? Is that all, or there was some? You think there's something else that perhaps we don't know about yet?
well, we are hearing that there were orders from the higher ups. There
I
were
see.
orders that came to the police from the higher ups that the streets should be cleared tonight.
I see. But you think the action of the government having, because my intent after I watched the first segment of the whole thing, my intent was to praise them tonight. I'm still going to praise them because nobody got killed. Do you know if anybody got killed or anything like that, by the way?
Absolutely no, we haven't here heard any information as to whether live bullet was even fired. Though there have been some comments we've been receiving, there are some people who are sending information to Liberia Public Radio office here in Monrovia saying that there were one person shot and killed, but we are not yet verified this. And this is still roaming around us. They are saying that yes, it literally was fired in the leg, and some are saying in the head and so forth. But we are not independently verified that yet. But police today, from the start of the whole process, were very friendly in terms of how they conduct things. Unlike in the afternoon when things started to go ahead to scatter, but generally it was actually smooth. I have covered protests in Liberia for some time now, about 10 years now. In 2011, for example, there were protests held at the grounds of the Congress for Democratic Change Party headquarters in Congo Town. We saw how that protest ended. One person was shot, and we saw how it was. So when we are saying that things went well, just imagine 2011, the protest that will cover I'm talking about, it was very much chaotic as compared to what we saw today.
I see. Well, I think that's something we all have witnessed. So, in other words, the protesters themselves, it seemed to be that they were able to be have the situation under control until the government stepped in. Is that fair to say?
Yes, yes. Come again?
The protester, the organizer of the protest today, had things. It seemed to be that they had things under control until the government stepped in with their security apparatus. Is that fair to say?
Yes, certainly, certainly. Things were on course. Like I said, at one point in time, there was a gentleman that tried to cause confusion among the protesters. So he was apprehended by the police through the advocacy of the protester, who turned him over to the police, saying that they are not out for any confusion. So this
So,
is the
so,
level of
in the mix of the protesters, there was individual that were trying to start trouble, and the protesters themselves turned that individual over to the police and said, "This is not what we about."
certainly. I saw that at the Capitol building today. Uh, I mean, this is a level of peacefulness it was from the beginning. Like I said, this is how the whole thing started to be very peaceful. Later on, we saw people bringing toothbrushes and mattresses and coat pots. They are saying that they wanted for the people to sleep there to ensure that while they are sleeping, they provide some food for them. Mr. Costa, when I asked him at the press conference, also he said the coat pots and other cooking utensils they carry was just to provide some food for the people, since indeed they couldn't provide food for them, for all of them once.
when
Because
the
today,
when the mattresses and things started flowing into the protest site, was the protester organizer frown on it, or it was something that they welcome?
they welcome me very well. They welcome me very well, saying that it was just a scene that they will not be leaving the area any soon. That was just to say to the government that they were not leaving until their accounts are addressed.
Was that particular statement or whatever, was it made public in their initial stage to say we're coming here and we're going to stay until the president answer or at least address some of our demand or request?
Well, we LPR is yet to handle the particular permit that was given the protesters today, to see whether they were given time limit as to when to leave the streets, because usually permit are given for a day or two or so. So we were not able to see, to really verify as to how long they were to stay in the streets.
I see. But one other question though, before we can move on to the next subject matter here. Until the government came in, I saw that people were on the platform, truck platform, or what have you. What some of the statement that was being made, were they provocative to the government? You think?
Whether we can quantify whether it's provocative or not, because usually protests like today, you will always hear words of sort. President is criminal, the president is rude, Samuel Tosh resign, Jefferson Koji is a criminal, and so forth. So there were, yes, indeed, there were some slogans, there were some comments that were made that we have recording to it.
I see. So if the government have not stepped in with the tear gas and what have you, what mark would you have given the government in its displays of welcoming people to exercise their constitutional right freely?
Well, I think if the president, I mean, if the police have not fired tear gas today, probably as we speak, we're going to still be on the grounds of the Capitol observing, seeing things as they unfold from the protesters because they were really resolved that they will be in the street until the president can answer to their call. And this is what probably the government seem not to be in their favor, so they have to order that the crowd is broken up.
But was there any of the representatives? I'm not too sure if they're in section or not. But was there any of them that show up to perhaps ask question or somehow participate or what besides Ormo Yeke Kaluba and perhaps Dallas Dillon? Was there any other representative or senator that you know of that were among the protesters, either participating or there for inquiry?
Absolutely not. I did not see any lawmaker or government official part of the protesters. One person I vividly saw today was the Assistant Justice Minister for Correction, Eli Trawale, who was part of the joint security operation today. But besides, I did not see people of official government who were part of the protests. I've never noticed any besides Honorable Yeke Koluba and Honorable Darius Dillon.
I see. So from anything that you know, you didn't see any of those people over there to say X, Y, and Z.
No, no, no.
Okay. All right, folks, Sam Sinto, Liberian Public Radio. I'm here with Mr. Mike Dunn, who's agreed to give us some more information. As you can tell, I'm not playing any video here tonight. I will do that come Wednesday where I will be able to digest or dissect most of the information and be able to pass that on to you. But I just have Mike right now who is giving us the information. So, Mike, let me ask you this. I know it's late over there. I'm going to be taking leave of here very shortly, and then my audience and I can continue to have this type of conversation. But let me ask you this. It's been quite a while now, maybe about 4 or 5 hours now. Is there any new organization reporting the standing of the U.S. embassy or ambassador, the statement from the international community, because they have been involved for some time now, and I'm wondering now that the protesters have gone out to have a protest that didn't end well. Of course, nobody got killed. I hope not. But is there any statement from the international community so far that you know of?
Well, I have not reached our news desk yet, but what I've just heard from Mr. Henry Costa, who is also a resident of the community where I do live, is that the U.S. Embassy has condemned what happened today by the police firing tear gas, and the United Nations Human Rights Commission also condemned that, according to Costa. But I have not seen the statement directly from the U.S. Embassy, but according to him, the U.S. Embassy has just released a statement, and also the UN Human Rights Commission condemning what happened today, the police action.
I see. Let's go into the economic situation in Liberia. How does it look like? People are getting paid on regularly?
Absolutely not. Pay as we speak. There are few ministries and agencies that are yet to take pay for November and December. 2 months. There were other ministries and agencies that also were 6 months without pay, or some 4 months without pay. For example, the Liberia Broadcasting System were 2 months without pay.
So how's the prices on a commodity, food, like rice and things like that? How the prices? Are they normal?
Well, when you say normal, I don't know, because prices are still the same, skyrocketed, because the U.S. rate came down a bit from 212 to 185. Yet and still, those prices that when the U.S. rate was 212, and the prices still remain the same.
I see. You, as a journalist, what are some of the things that perhaps you think the government things are not going well in terms of governmental citizens? In other words, is the government performing to the best of their abilities? That might be a loaded question, but I'll ask you anyway.
There have been some ups and downs for this government, Mr. To. As you speak, one first thing that many Liberians didn't see so many years ago was the delay of salary. Uh, uh, Not to even talk about salary not coming for 2 3 months. Salary was being paid on time during the former regime. So this is one comparison that one can make to say the government is not performing. There are so many priorities that the government is not addressing. For example, the free education that the government talk about, how effective it is. It's not effective. The professors at the University of Liberia have not taken pay for some months now. Yet then still the president last in 2018 declared that free education for all students attending the University of Liberia, free tuition rather. But those free tuition stuff are not effective.
I
They
see.
are statement. People are saying that they are politically made, but the effectiveness is not seen. Why will you waive $4 million when the University of Liberia need more than $29 million to properly function?
Okay, Mike, we want to appreciate you. I mean, you live in Liberia. I'm here in Sacramento, so I think most of the information you're providing here, those can be fact checked. And anybody you don't believe that, they can go and fact check those information. You report not only for Liberian Public Radio, but you report for other media institutions as well. And I don't see anybody that have accused your writing or any of your statement of being bias or what have you. I've not seen it yet. Before we take leave of you, Mike, is there anything else you perhaps you want to expand on before we take leave of you?
Well, it has been a very good coverage today. We just encourage our people that we will continue to provide them the information. Those of you in the diaspora that continue to support our work, we are here. We nobody. We are not against anyone, or we are not in favor of anyone. We report it as it happens because this is what we're in the business of doing. I've been journalist throughout for the past 13 years. So you can say I'm saying this in favor of somebody, or somebody has given me money to report something in their favor. I would never do that. Places that I worked before, you can just go and ask whether I've been biased or I've been on one side. So as it happened, we're going to say it, and the way the issue is, we're going to address it with how things are happening in this country.
So before I go, just one thing I wanted to ask: how's the security system in Liberia, from your own perspective?
What is cool? It's cool. Security is intact. Really. For example, today the security was on top of their game. Everywhere you go, you will see police. And like I said in the live coverage today, it seems that the government spent some a good sum of money today on security operation because from every major street corner you could see police barricading corner. So it seems that they spent some good sum of money on security operation today. So police and the joint security issue, all of them were very intact today. And as we speak, they are also on top of their games. Though the city is right now quiet, nothing is ongoing right now.
All right. Thank you, Mike. We say we appreciate it, and we will hope. And we'll talk to the Liberian. You're the manager over there in Liberia. We'll also talk to the manager here in the diaspora, LPR manager here in the diaspora. If we can have these kinds of conversation weekly with you, even if it's once a week. We would love to do that because I think providing information to us here will be very helpful to our listener as well. And I, on behalf of my listener and LPR here in the diaspora, of course, I say thank you. And your coverage this afternoon were very wonderful, and I appreciate it. So thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Tool.
Okay, folks, Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I want to thank all of you that tuned into LIBERIA Public Radio this evening. It's been a wonderful, wonderful show. We will continue to go out here. And the outburst earlier, I think this perhaps was my first time doing such. But it was just ridiculous, to be honest with you. I can block people, but why would I want to block them when I can explain to them? Because this is something, we do these things here, to be honest with you. We do these things not because we want to or we have to. These are things we do for the community. LPR has been around for a very long time. For the past, 15, 16 years. We've been involved in community activities. We have not given up on anything. Something that comes out that have to do with the community, we're involved. Okay? So it's not like we're just here trying to like somebody or don't like somebody. That's not what this is. Okay? LPR also, the LPR Liberia radio station or TV that we're trying to put together, we're not asking anybody to give us money. This is strictly from the management of LPR. So the point that I'm trying to make here, when you come on these kinds of shows, and even if you don't like what is being stated, and if you believe these are false or somebody's lying, you don't have to stay. You don't have to stay. And LPR doesn't even necessarily need you in order to go. I can have one person viewing me. I will still go on every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, even if I don't have anybody. Because that's the commitment that we have made. We didn't make the commitment because we want viewers. We didn't make the commitment to do these things because we want a certain amount of people to view us. Far from it. Far from it. We spend our own money to do these things. Not because we want you to like us or what have you. Of course, we like to engage you. But if you can't come out here and be honest with yourself, and be honest with yourself, even if somebody is lying, you think for some reason, those of you that continue to use the word lie, it seems that you're very limited in your level of education. Because perhaps you will be able to respect this show. This is an intellectual platform. If we bring somebody here that you don't agree with, you can express yourself without being rude and insulting to our guests. That we will not allow. We will not allow that. Because this is just like coming to your house and being disrespectful. And that's not what we do. All of the time that I come on here, you never once heard me insulting anybody until when I use the word stupid and foolish today. Because it has gotten to a point that people need to be reminded that we don't come out here and do these things here because we want to be popular in the community. Far from it. What do I care if you like me or not? Tomorrow I'm going to work as an engineer. I make good living. I'm going to work to design road here in California. I don't need Liberia work for me to do things. If anything, I've been telling you, the semi-design here, I do design here from my studio here free of charge. Free of charge. So it's not like none of us have contributed to the development of Liberia. And some of us continue to do that. But things that you don't know. This young man, he's not anything more than 35 years old. And he agreed, in time like this, he been in the street of Monrovia all day. Tear gas and everything, he just explained to you. And after that, he went to Custard and the group to have the press conference to bring you information. Instead of getting they say, you will hear it yourself from these people that are the stakeholder themselves. We didn't ask for money. You didn't tell him that he was lying then. So he comes on to give us more information because the information does not suit you. Now it becomes a lie. If he was to come out and say something that perhaps you like, he won't be a liar. Then you too are not truthful to yourself. You're not truthful with yourself. You're not truthful with your spirit. And you're bringing that kind of devil spirit on my show. And God rebuke you for that. I say so. Samson too. Anyway, let me go on. That's enough of all that. I want people to know that when we bring people on, we're not expecting you to accept them. We're not asking you to accept their view. But you have to be respectful. You can't come out here and be behaving like that. Then Bloku side, the other side of Bloku will come on very quickly. And I don't mind that. Because here is the thing about me. I know who I am. There's nothing you're going to say. There's no insult you're going to say that will move me. At this stage of my age, of my experience, the kind of thing that I do, I'm about ready to retire. You think you're going to say something that will affect me? Please find something else to talk about. When I say retire, did I say retire from LPR? Far from it. Far from it. That wheelbarrow you will bring for me to retire out of the place. Thank you. Folks know on a very serious note, we cannot behave like that. That just doesn't help us as a show that will consider ourselves to be intellectually grounded. Let's put it that way. So anyway, you heard it. That's the information. Now let me give you, now you can call me a liar as well, because I'm getting ready to lay out on you here very shortly. Let me give you some information, because this coming Wednesday, there's a lot of video today that I'm going to be playing some this coming Wednesday. As far as I'm concerned, I think I told you guys here Friday and Saturday that I believe COP have won big time. In fact, if I was a member of the COP, my argument was going to be there shouldn't even be any protest after December 30th. Because what is the purpose of a protest? Is to do what? Attract attention to your cause. And the international community was heavily involved in the attention of the cause of COP. So then I wasn't even going to come and say, let's protest. But this is what they wanted to do. And the government was so good today. It was unbelievable until they allow people to, you see, when the government do these kinds of stuff, some of us that consider ourselves as political junkie, we can be dancing in the street, pretty much. The government not only allow people until they did this foolishness about the people. So what if the people want to sleep in the street? Well, people in Montreal sleeping in the street every day. The people that can be sleeping in the graveyard, you'll move them from there. So what? If you were to send people to the COP to say, look, we don't mind you guys protesting, but the government will not, I don't think it's in the right move for us to allow you guys to sleep in the street. Wrap it around them with safety, for goodness sake. We don't mind doing this. These people need to understand that the government is suffering when they're not rich. So you bring it out. Say, look, just to be here for so many hours since this morning, this is how much it's costing us. Don't hide it. If we keep you here, we will have to provide security for you. We cannot afford it. And let's COP, in the eyes of the international community, in the presence of the international community, say, okay, if we want to sleep here, we want to provide security for ourselves. And let's see what the people are going to say. Today, the government was so good, my people. They were not only able to show to the international community, to the whole world, that they have the ability to allow people to protest against them, because that's what the Constitution says. Not only that, but the most important thing that I took out of this thing from the government side today was the freedom of religion, expressing your free will to be whoever you want to be when it comes to religion. You saw our Muslim brothers pray in the street of Monrovia today. You got security guard all over. You got the protests. In fact, if you watch the video, as these people were praying, people were very quiet. People were very quiet to respect our brothers and sisters to pray. The government did not say, oh, don't put your shoe in the street. You're coming to pray. Don't do that. No. They didn't say anything. Can you imagine if that thing has stayed? How much I think would have gone farther than that. But now, with the tear gas and thing, how do we know one of these brothers that were praying for the country, what are they to get tear gas? Do you even know what kind of prayer they were offering to God for the safety of the country? They didn't do it behind the house. They came and did it publicly. Our Muslim brothers came publicly and prayed for all of us. What we've been asking for. And the government allowed that. They didn't disturb anybody. But because people decided to call Pambota and Kesali, and something to it not going to be part of that Kesali and Pambota, you'll take that part from him, you're going to fully, you'll give me nothing. Oh, we disturbing them for? No, on a very serious note. This was something that I think the government, for some reason, the government always, when people say, yeah, the government is doing good, just like some football team. You have the football team you like. Oh, yeah, today the people do well. Before you look, they start making mistakes in the background. You saw the Liberian news agency, Kwame Opa Week, who is the chief over there, was doing broadcasting, asking people questions, even interview Mo Ali. Things were so good. The protesters, they themselves, of course, they're going to say some regular statement thing because that's protest. They were doing good. But because the government said nobody should sleep in the street. I have this one video where they were showing, they were videotaping from the rooftop. It looked bad. But if you look at it from the ground level, from the eye level, you can tell it wasn't that bad. But when you look at it from the top, it looks bad. And that's what people are going to look for. Now you tell me now, is the government tomorrow going to go out and ask for investor to come in? Yes. For some reason, this was a good program to sell for international community, for investors. Look what we have in that country. Democracy, wasting. Look what the people are doing. And the people are even cooking in the street. Look, we had an executive mansion, the people are cooking. People say, wow. You know the thing they say about India? Even as poor as India is compared to other countries, the world's largest democracy is India. People are still suffering. A lot of people don't get food over there. But they don't look at that. They look at the way the government treats its people. And sometimes the way they treat the Muslim and things like that, just few weeks ago, they were in the news. But you don't hear that. This could have been a good selling point today for the Republic. If you knew very well you don't want these people, they've been saying this thing over and over and over, that they're going to sleep in the street. If you didn't like that, block them from the beginning, and we'll go from there. But you allow them to come in. It's like you're entrapping certain things. You entrap them. You allow them peacefully. Because very early this morning, the very first video I saw was from Costa, driving, saying the way it looked like things going well. You don't try and get in the street. If you're going to do that, you call the COP, say, look, you guys going to have to protest if you want to, that's fine. But here's the budget. And you know already the government facing issues. We don't have that kind of money to keep providing security for you guys at night. Be honest with them. But you allow them to come in. And when they came in, because people were cooking pusawa and kisawali in the street of Monrovia, which I also am not too comfortable with that either. Because just a few days ago, I was here blabbing. How can you not take care of your city? Why would you want to cook in the street of Monrovia? I'm not comfortable with that either. So I'm not quite on board with the cooking and what have you. If you're going to do something like that to the COP now, if you're going to do something like that, rent yourself a sideline or side place or whatever, Buze Quarter, rent a gas station, close the gas station down, or go somewhere where there's a free area and the people cook. Okay, you direct your people over there. Okay, you want to eat food over there. You finish eating, come back. Or you're going to put coal pot in the street of Monrovia. But then the people, you can say, but Mr. To, they do that every time, every night. Of course, when I was in Monrovia, I used to be EJ Raw. After about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're going to go eat food. On the sidewalk of Monrovia, you're going to eat kisawa, roasted kisawa. Sidewalk of Monrovia, you're going to eat corn, roasted corn. Sidewalk of Monrovia. Any food you want to eat, chicken, sidewalk of Monrovia, midnight. So you can say, well, people cook in the street anyway. Yes. But this was something that was being watched by the international community. We all have to take pride of the country. Even if you don't agree with the government, which I don't most of the time, but let us take pride what that little country is for all of us. So for us to come out and say, okay, we're going to cook, I'm not too comfortable with it either. But I'm not going to take the drastic action that was taken today by the government. Folks, let me go ahead and open the line. Now, one thing I love about everybody, when you say something, they say you're wrong. You say they want the person, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I like that. But anyway, let me go on. So where the heck is this one coming from? All right, well, it's not in my. Oh, my goodness. Folks, give me 5 minutes here. Jesus. Is that going to shut me down? I hope not. No. Okay. It didn't. Okay. All right. We're getting there. Okay. Oops. Just shut down. Okay. All right, folks. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. Let me go ahead before I open the line. As usual. Music here. Why not? Why not? Thanks to Mike again this evening for giving us a wonderful, wonderful information. Folks, I know we're all anxious, but please, let us be respectful to each other. Please, please. I'm going to put a number out. Give me a call. As soon as you call me, I will close the music and answer your call. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. Here we go.
oh, Mafiole. Tete Magia, Raya, Molano, Ologeju, Wapodaju, Mafiole, say Mafiole, say Mafiole, say Mafiole.
Sam Sinto, LeBron Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind? Go ahead. Hello? Yes, we're here.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Can you hear me?
Wait, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I just want to, yeah, hello, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
So I hear you very well.
Okay, go ahead. Make your point, please.
Okay, I guess, what I it's certain thing that really makes sense because I'm looking at what's going on in Liberia video. It really don't make sense because the George Weah government trying to set themselves up a failure because these protests are supposed to be peaceful so people can demonstrate a right? And they're doing what they're doing. I've seen people only alive and coming saying, "Oh, it's sad," or "Yeah, it would be sad," but we are living in a Western world. We know what happened in the Western world. For typical example, France, when they had a big protest going on in China or other places, the people were burning cars, burning businesses down. Well, none of that happened in Liberia, so why did people bothering to this people taking the time to protest? Ain't nobody burn house in Liberia or burn anybody car. They were just poking the cheeks. So what is the problem? That I don't understand that people have to sit here and make all the comments on what you're saying. Because other countries, where people go crazy about the right. They do things they're not supposed to do. Those people are very peaceful in Liberia today. I don't think anything wrong happened there today for the people to go after them and how they go after them and using tear gas on them. Yo, it's sad. Once again, Joe, where they dropped the bait for him and he took the bait again, because you telling the people, yes, you're going to do this, what you're going to do. But on the other hand, the people suffering in the country, though, when they feel when they gave them the proposal what they want, Joe, you were president of the country, you couldn't act right away. You telling Henry Custom, oh, you will not address it after the Christmas. But people died. But that nobody put that into consideration. That was cool that they could say, "Oh, I want to take my time to do what I want to do for the Liberian people." But I think when the Liberian people come in the street to protest, you're sending people to run after them. It's just my take on it, man. It's just my comment, man. To me, that was just so wrong. What it do? It's just so wrong. Once again, they dropped the bait and he took it. I was just saying, Clay is a stupid man. He's very stupid.
Be careful. We don't use those language.
No, I am upset though. You don't understand.
I don't know. I am upset. Listen, my brother. Listen. Let's.
I see things happen.
I understand.
People that went out to protest, they burn. The bank cars, they burn houses, they destroy businesses.
If you just listen to me, you will understand. I'm not saying that you're not upset. Basically, what I'm asking all of us to do. I don't expect you to come here with your divorce. I mean, with your emotion being divorced. Emotion is high on all of us right now, and I have gone off here myself, off the rail. So I'm not just saying let's take it easy. But the reason I'm saying this is you want to make a comment, and the reason why you're calling in, it doesn't mean that you don't have nothing to do. But these things are very painful to all of us, and you're calling in to express yourself. But I'm just saying that we should do it with some sort of restrained. Let's put it that
I
way.
hear you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm really, really hard to be honest with you. I am hard
I
because
understand. I understand that.
this is not right because I watched a video with Henry Castro saying that they gave them the proposal what they want as a president. That was your duty. That was something that he took office for. When they gave the proposal, do it like 1 or 2 days come on the air and talk to them like one people will hear you. All people people that wanted the easy people to deal with. Come and trust them to hear you, but you told them, you can't do nothing about it. Because you want to sip it, get champagne, your children enjoying the money, your family enjoying, they're going here, going there, but the poor people suffering. You couldn't even address that.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you,
we're going to cook on the capital building today,
Thank
so
you.
everybody now all have break loose. They are running beyond them.
Thank you. Thank you, my
It's
brother.
very unfair. Yes, I did have a good time, and thanks for having me on the show, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Folks, Samson told LIBERIA Public, if you call and I'm not able to answer your call because somebody is on the line, that's why. You can call me on the line, it's free. Whenever the music is on, the line is free. Samson told.
I need to go now. See the one with the deal. See the one with the deal. When you make my hair, I need to go now. See the one with the deal.
Samson told LIBERIA Public, what's your name, where you're calling from, or what's on your mind?
Mr. Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Thank you. What's on your mind?
Right. For contact, what exactly you're going with this? It's just expressing whatsoever on our heart.
Yes, but I just said we express ourselves freely, but let's do it with responsibilities. In other words, let's watch the language we're going to use for against our own brothers and sisters. Or as you just come out here publicly to express yourself, the English language is at your command. You know that. You know the words to use. That's all that I'm saying. But go ahead and make a point, my brother.
Right. So, I've been observing everything in Liberia. I've been following all of what's been going on in Liberia. So I've been in and out of Liberia times. I have friends who have soft spot for the president of Liberia. I remain objective. Very objective, see where you're going with this administration. And so today was the hallmark of trying to really see exactly where the government of Liberia was going. So here's my premise. The government of Liberia dropped the ball today. That's my premise. And how did that come to that conclusion? Because I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning.
I
started with
yeah.
So I've been up 3 o'clock this morning. And I managed to be very, very objective to follow the facts where it leads. And so I'll summarize the whole thing. Here you find the protesters. They find themselves on the Capitol Hill, and they are protesting. So at some point, as I followed watching the videos very intensely, you have different fashion. It seems like they had different fashion of this same group of people. So one group on the other side playing different kind of music, the other group on the side playing different kind of music. And so I saw Henry Costa, I saw Darius Dalon, I saw Mo Ali. But at some point, I couldn't see Darius Dalon. I didn't see Henry Costa. So then the protester had a little bit of food to eat. But then all of a sudden, at some point in the video as I was watching, I see a car. What appears like a loaf of bread or some kind of food came in. And so the protesters are happy at this point. So they're singing and dancing and so forth. They decided that they were going to cook. So they said they were going to cook. So eventually they start cooking. Lo and behold, I saw some level of changes. The changes are made where the police officers are supposed to change. So the police officers that started in the morning were supposed to change shift, and the new officers come in. And so in that time period, I'm summarizing it now.
Please do so.
They
Somebody else take a call. Go ahead.
So you got 102 comes in, and at that point right now, this is the climax here now. So 102 comes in. Apparently, he has an order. So directly where that order comes from, it wasn't certainly clear as to where the order came from. But he has an order, and that order was due to the fact that there was cooking. So they needed to put the fires off. That was what I heard. And so here you have some human rights officers or whatever. They're supposed to be independent. So they go to negotiate about the fire. That's what I'm hearing about the fire. So apparently there's a legit reasons about this fire. Now, negotiating to put the fire out, the protesters are saying that they're going to cook. So at that point, the tensions start to escalate a little bit. Then it gets to Mo Ali, who happens to be one of the leaders of the COP. So I thought Mo Ali could have addressed that situation a little bit more, as to give some answers to the fire being lit up in the middle of the street. So I, for one, just looking at it from my objective, my observing eyes, I didn't see what the government saw. But apparently the government saw something that was threatening. Now, Mo Ali and the rest of the protesters could have handled it in a little bit more civil way. But they decided this is their right to cook. Now, this is rights versus power. The protesters are saying this is their right to cook. The government said it is our power, our authority to enforce whatever the laws is. So right there, this is the climate. So for my objective reasoning, I'm looking at it, I'm seeing the citizens trying to assert that right, and the government is trying to assert its power. And so at that place right now, at that point, the 102, he decided that he was going to give them an ultimatum. He was going to give them 5 minutes to sort out everything. So after the 5 minutes was exhausted, he came back, and he came back with force. So when he came back with force, and all those that watched the video saw exactly what happened. So here's my take on it. Now, this is like trying to kill a mosquito with a slice hammer. You know what I mean? You're trying to kill a mosquito with a slice hammer. I thought it was very inappropriate to start using hot water and tear gas and going after the protesters just for putting up a fire. Because in that video, it had nothing to do with you're on the street for so long and you need to get out. It has to do with putting up the fire. When 102 was leaving, what I heard him saying, the fire must go off. So unless I heard him wrong, unless I heard something else, but this is what I heard and this is what I saw. He turned his back and the police are going. And I could observe the body language of the other police officers were very reluctant to go in. But there was power-driven, power-hungry, trigger-happy to come out of protesters, and they did exactly what they did. Now, they dropped the ball. The government dropped the ball. I want to be very objective. The COP leadership could have handled that fire thing a little bit more civil, but I think that the government took upon themselves because they were very trigger-happy and power-hungry and tried to stop out the protesters and get them off the street. And that's bad for Africa. It's bad for Liberia. It's bad for us all. I don't care what side of the coin you on, what side, you know what I mean? I'm not here to take any party, but I'm just saying the government dropped the ball today because this was the expectation that there was going to be a clash between two people, the citizens of Liberia and the government of Liberia. And in fact, it's almost like a prophecy. It did happen. It did. But the takeaway, the silver lining here, is that the citizens of Liberia were very restrained, they were very resolved, and they walked away from that hostile situation because it would have been nasty today. I thank God that it didn't happen. I thank God, and everybody should thank God that the protesters did not retaliate to stop burning down buildings and start acting a fool in Liberia today, or else it would have been a different story. So everybody needs to take up that party hat and put it away. And let's look at the facts for where it leads. The government of Liberia dropped the ball. I don't care if the president happens to be your dad, he happens to be my dad, he dropped the ball today. He dropped the ball. The whole world's watching. And it's about time where black people, we need to take our own responsibility and stop looking at the Western world. When the Western world stop protesting and stop doing all this stuff, Africans don't come over and tell them what to do. So let us stop looking at the Western world. The president of Liberia should have put up his big boy's pants today and act like a real president of Africa, and then stop depending on the Western world to tell us what to do. He should have acted like the president of Liberia today to put away the situation, because that situation would have turned out of hand today. It would have been nasty. But I thank God that the protester was very peaceful and they walked away. Some of them were hurt and so forth. So I'm not talking to anybody in here because it has to do with your party, and that's the one thing I noticed. Most Liberians, we are so party driven, and we don't even have parties in Liberia. We have political groups. Political groups. You see? So this is crazy.
Dude,
and everybody got tied to this, you know what I mean, these different political groups, so they can't take away the hat to see what's going on. It's bad.
Thank you, my
you know, man. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Wow. Well, folks, you want to call names? Oh my goodness, that was wonderful. That was a statement. We've been doing these things, but there's certain time when you get some real statement, and it opens your eyes. And I think this young man really addressed some of the issue here this evening. And we want to thank him very much. We want to thank you. But give me a call, Sam Sinto, LeBron Public Radio. I really appreciate that comment, my brother. Thank you. Give me a call, Sam Sinto. Let's play the music while I'm waiting. Sam Sinto, LeBron Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Good afternoon, Mr. Toad. My name is Nathan Nimenekwine, calling from Hamilton, New Jersey.
Thank you very much for joining us. What's on your mind?
Yeah, on my mind, a lot. But you know, our government today, just like you said from the beginning, from the intro, blew off a great opportunity. But just like you need all the things. We eat food in the middle of the street and all that, we did that. So what would it take this government? You won't cook. If I call the international community for people to see them cooking, that would even delegitimize the accusation that, the government doesn't protect us. The government, of course, they protect you because you cooking. They see you cooking. On the side of the COP, they, in preparation of this, knowing that the food should have eaten, should have come with food already cooked and prepared. At that point, the government itself had a responsibility. They said, don't go here, maybe the fire hazard, whatever excuse you have. Call the leadership of the person, the protest, and say, look, sir, do it a different way. And hear from them. Mr. Toad, like you said, the young journalist who just spoke from Liberia, look what the guy went through to bring us the information as we need it. You know, when I was trying to practice journalism, a man named Gabriel R.H. Williams told me in a class, Nathan, the best journalist is the eyewitness. And for the country to come to this point, where the government says, guys, cook your food, in fact, give us food, where the even police will gather water, the international community will have seen it. Even the government helped them. Give them water, provided security. You can't say, I didn't give you security when I am giving you water to drink. And our brothers in the Muslim community, they were praying. The protesters got silent until the prayers were over.
I don't mean to interrupt, but that was very, very interesting. In as much as they were in the middle of the noise, in as much as everybody was talking, here and there, but as soon as everybody was quiet.
The music, the drum went down. Yeah. The people taking the truck got quiet. And it will play. In the people of both the country, the government, and the opposition, also neutral. And the president, he didn't come there. Okay, he didn't come there. But they cannot start putting their foot in their own mouth. Why can't you just let them protest, let them cook? If you say don't cook, call the leadership and say you can't cook here. If you say they should cook in a confined area. We all eat roasted cassava in the street. We all eat roasted corn. We eat roasted meat in the street. There is no Liberian that in the street. And the food I cook on the sidewalk. We eat cassava gravy. We cook cassava gravy on the sidewalk. Mayonnaise with bread, sausage. We eat all that day. So how is that different? Okay, you say, well, the whole world is washing up. Let the whole world wash what we do as a tradition. And the government will have been boastful. We let them practice the Liberian culture. They eat everybody go eat. They do what they could do. We protect security. We disagree with them, but we protected them. I can bet person we are at some point in his life, ate on the street. Where you say he came from? Claracana.
Of course.
At the junction, they have roasted plenty, roasted cassava gravy. Coconut with cassava. We eat all that. Yeah. Okay, in the same, okay, maybe because of security is uncertain, talk to the leadership of this person. There's not a time for that. And it makes sense. But for the president, or not the president, for the police director, look, you got over 40,000 people protesting. You give them a 5 minutes ultimatum. How can they do? How do you work that out? They came back with water cannon, tear gas. So the government at the time they begin the provocateur.
Okay.
And the people sat there and they see all that are happening. So the country, I thank God, like the gentleman just said, the protesters did not respond like the government expected and acting. The government tried to provoke violence and they did not. Right. And I mean, I just thank God it went peacefully, minor injuries, no major issues. I just thank God. Thank you for the time before.
Thank you. Again, folks, Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, like I said earlier, I think this is one of those days that we have to be thankful to God. Because people, in 1979, I was in the thick of this stuff. And people were burning this stuff. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, what's your name, where you're calling from, what's on your mind?
Hello, how are you?
Hello,
My name is, I'm fine. My name is Mamian Samara. I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you for allowing me on your show. What's on my mind is that in the protest today, I don't know what the president of Liberia is depending on. So this is what I'm always saying. If you think you are a leader of a nation, you should be able to come to the crowd of your people and listen to them. Whether what they're trying to tell you, you're going to work with it or not, but be able to come to them if they are trying to punch you. Well, the president of Liberia, he's really trying to show that he was just doing what was he could to be president, but he don't care for the people of Liberia. Because look at what happened today. Like what Darren did not say the other day when the interviewed him. He said, if we get to the street, if the president comes and address our flag, in 5 minutes, we're going to leave the street. Why is it that President Weah will always want to play on the intelligence of the Liberian? How big will it take him if he comes? If he's going to come out today and listen to the people and tell us, oh, he's going to work on it. What will it do for President Weah? During the time he needed vote, he went to the doorstep of all these people asking them to vote for him. Now he don't want to listen to the people. Today, I called my sister back and I said, how's the protest? She said, oh, the people went to assemble, but the president didn't tell her Now the people, they said they're going to stay there. They're cooking. And that was exactly what I said. I said, this is the one that I'm going to bring out the violence. Because if President we have to come out today and listen to the people, whatever they have to see, then everything going to be resolved. The people don't want to stay in the street to say they're cooking or to making food for them to eat. But because he did not come to listen to the people, so it was exactly the people in the street. They said they want to stay out there, sleep there, cook, and wait for him to come up until he can come and listen to them or to hear their cry. But all the protests they're going on June 7th, December 31st, and this one, President he always thinking public is there. He's got something under his feet that he wants for war to come in the country. Because
I don't think so. I hate to do this, madam, but I don't think President we will be the one to say he want war to come in the country. But anyway, that's your view.
But let's say yes, it's our problem to come. Because what brought about the tear gas today and to spray the people with the water is President we are going to appear today. They're never going to reach that far. They're never going to do that. But because he refused, he don't want to listen to the people. He makes the people to feel less important. And he's not. What I want the president to realize is that he's not the only president, or he's not a president for a specific group of people. He's a president for the whole nation. So he's supposed to listen to everybody. Whether he do or not, he has to listen to everybody. So that's my tip. That's the message I got from him. Let him be able to listen to everybody. Even if you can't work on your board, if somebody is angry and the person comes to you with their anger and you try to listen to the person, it eases down the pressure. Then you guys can go on round table to discuss whatever you want to discuss. But you try to ignore the people every day, it will always breed a tension. So that's what happened today. The protest ended in violence because he didn't turn up and the people decided to stay and cook. Do other stuff they bring about violence. So thank you for allowing me on your show. That's my intake today.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Don't be a stranger now. Keep calling us in whenever we come on, man. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, you give me a call. I'll be here for some time. Let me play the music while I'm waiting for your call. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, what's your name and where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello?
Yeah, but you got to try to lower the monitor in the background, please.
Hello?
Yeah, the monitor in the background. Okay, thank you. We still have monitor in the background.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I turn it off.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm calling regarding to the today protest. All the people that are talking, they are wrong.
Okay.
Yes, I would say I'm a Liberian. This is not called for. Don't blame the president for their own acts. Henry Costa told the whole world that he was going to go to the mansion and hold the president by the neck and drag him like a market dog. Why would he go to talk to Henry Costa? Who is he?
Okay.
Who is Henry Costa? When he insulted the president, when everybody in the country, the Yeke Koruba insulting the man 24 hours in that country and nobody can open their mouth and say anything. This is the man that play on the football field with rebel just for them to put gun down. Went to every refugee camp and see LIBERIA refugee. See to it that everybody come home. This man love the country. The people don't respect themselves, so they don't respect him. 1979, back on Matthew did not carry copper on the street to go cook. Did he do that? No. Why they can't think?
I was there. 1979, I was there. We did worse than that.
Yeah, but you don't care copper to go cook.
But we damaged people's buildings.
You damaged poor building because Bonnie Denson started shooting at people from Capitol Hill.
That's his name. Vonnie Dexter, he's a light-skinned guy, right?
Vonnie Dexter, I don't know whether he's living now, but he was the police director at that time.
No. The guy I'm talking about is a captain. But anyway, go ahead. Okay, make your point. But anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So when these people are insulting the president, how will he go and say with you?
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you. I know you're a Liberian. You say you're a Liberian already.
Yes.
Dr. We are a president now for everybody, and that's all.
Yes, he is.
Okay, you know now the host himself sounds into he's stupid, and that's all. So why
Who's stupid?
Me. You know I'm stupid.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Why Dr. We can't say sounds into is a Liberian, he's stupid. I would deal with everybody who's stupid, just like sounds into, so I'm a president for everybody. And why you can't say that one?
Okay, let me put it this way.
Okay.
You cannot insult the president in America. Donald Trump insult anybody. They don't go after him and insult him. Okay? They respect the office of the president.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Donald Trump.
They don't insult Donald Trump?
No, when he insulted, they bought our plane for $40. They bought our plane to salute the flag. They say, okay. You abuse the war.
Okay.
The boy never said anything to him.
Okay. All right. Okay.
The boy didn't reply him.
Okay. All right.
And he the same Donald Trump said the boy shouldn't play on the NFL no more. And up to this time, the boy didn't get no job. He's not playing.
Okay. All right, my brother. Thank you. I know, like I said, this is emotional for all of us. Nobody here is perfect.
And coming, if the people want the fair thing, Joe, we have still money. Let the call Helen how much money she left in Afana at the National Bank. Okay. Let it go after the paperwork. Black and white will not lie. Okay. Helen is living. Her son, who the governor is living. Let them put everything on the table. But other than that, they don't have nothing on Joy Weir. Okay. You were building houses in Liberia when you were people for.
Okay, thank you. I will do the houses on Friday. The houses I will talk about them Friday. But thank you for your contribution. We appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Samson to Liberian Public Radio is a platform where we express ourselves freely and without any hindrance from me or none from Alfonso So anyway. So please give me a call. Let me play the music while I'm waiting for your call. Samson to Liberian Public Radio. Samson to Liberian Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Mr. Sultan, how are you today and how you doing?
Thank you. Thank you very much. What's on your mind, sir?
What I want to say is that it has to do with and I want to ask this.
Has to do with what?
It has to do with the protest today.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
I really want to ask the previous caller, where on earth does this guy live? If he talking about nobody can shut Donald Trump.
No, we're not going. Let us don't do that. Just express yourself. That's his move. That's his
No, just something we all just we making our points, but we need to correct other people if they are giving this out there.
Yes, the issue here. Yes, the issue that I don't not that I don't allow it, but I think it's going to be a waste of time. Because every time you make a statement, people don't agree with you. Then they come and make correction before they make a statement. Just go and express your view, and we can take it from there. Go ahead. Make a point, my brother.
Okay. There's something you call in the military, you call decapitated strikes. That was the kind of strike that killed Soleimani, the U.S. used against Soleimani, saying Iran to kill him. That strike has to do with eliminating a government or a group of people. That's what that strike is all about. So, like in the issue of our protest today, the issue was George Weah the government has lost revenue for the previous days that was elected by the COP. They lost revenue, maybe 1 point some more million, whatever. So they could not afford to lose another million for tomorrow. Because taxpayer will always capitalize on that. Oh, I should pay my tax, but you have this going on in your country. So how do I get to where I'm supposed to go pay my tax? So there was no way to pay the tax. So those are they're trying to say, in a sense, that's something that was already premeditated. If you went to call a fire for protesters, the fire was, okay, you turn the fire up by shooting by wasting the water. So why did you go about chasing them now? Why did you go about chasing them? So that means that's something that they wanted to be in the street for tomorrow. So there was something that was planned. So let us not talk about people insulting president, people not insulting president, because I know for sure Donald Trump is the most insulted president in the world. And he was insulted, but we did not come out to talk about it when a mother who on her clothes were soaked with tomatoes in the streets. Where was this brother? He didn't say anything that anyone was insulted. She's a lady. How many of us talk about insults? How many of us? But because people insult Georgia, it's becoming a big thing, it's becoming an issue. Georgia is a public figure. Anybody can say things to him. It doesn't matter. He's a leader. Georgia was not taken to a house of people and insulting. Did people insulting when he taken to a house? When he was not president? No, it did not happen. But he chose to serve the Liberian people. So if you choose to be a public servant is almost like a garbage can. That's how you roll. People will put all kinds of things into your garbage. But it left with you to pick among those garbage, to put the red one, to trash the red one, and to trash the bad one and leave the red one into the can. That's how public servant look like. So they shouldn't come here and say, when people giving accused and say, oh, every one of them, they are wrong. No, you don't do that.
Okay.
So we'll keep monitoring the show, and we'll keep we'll keep coming up, other people as they come on to give last here. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Keep monitoring, please. Make sure we do the right thing. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I'm putting the music on again. Give me a call. Okay, folks, I think you guys probably exhausted yourself already with the call. I'm not seeing any call coming in, so that means it's time to leave myself. Sam's LIBERIA Public Radio. I spoke too soon. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind? Hello? Hello? Okay. They're not quite ready to take it. All right. Okay, folks, Sam's into LIBERIA Public Radio. I'm going to be taking a leave of here very shortly here, but I just want to say this here. This coming Friday, I will be talking about the insult, and I'll also be addressing Sam's into LIBERIA Public Radio. What's your name and where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Mr. Samson, this is Augustus. How you doing today?
Oh, not bad, Chief. How you doing?
Oh, great. Well, I just like to show some light, my own view about what transpired in Liberia today.
That's what the show is all about. Go ahead.
Yes, I spent a lot of time watching Sponge TV, Publish Africa, trying to observe what was going on in Liberia there. From what I noticed is that because the media people was letting us know what was happening, the protest was actually peaceful to some extent. I mean, we are all in the how you call it, in the 20th or 21st century. where when people want to demonstrate, you have not, personally, I have not seen anybody carrying footpath and wool and go and say, oh, they want to go in front of government property. Right at the center, right at the capital. Even the United States, you go do your protesting. People do protest right in front of the warehouse, but they have security guard, they have restriction. People gotta respect, and they gotta follow. They gotta follow order. The reason why the protest escalated because we got some people there in the COP that think they are above the law and they cannot follow order. And part of the reason why that particular feeding is continuing to happen is because whenever they say something or they challenge the government they allow them to do whatever they want to do. And that is exactly first. They challenge the government, international community will protest on Monday. They allow the government to not provide security for them. Later on, the government went ahead and provide security for them. Working with them, with the protesters. If the government say, okay, the police say, nobody should go over there, and you really serious and you really want to continue your protest, because the police not just wake up and start wasting water. That negotiation takes 1 hour before they started wasting the water. The first one to push the leader of the protester, they said, okay, they will not do it. Then they want to go and the human rights, independent human rights people that are on ground. They want to go and talk to those people then. And then they go, no action going on. So the police say, okay, we will go ahead and then we'll go ahead and start and turn the fire off. That's how I imagine. That's how they send over about 40 people there to stay in on the footpath to stop the police from being able to take on there. Okay. That's what brought the water shooting first. When the water got shoot, then the protesters get 102. They started and start talking to the police. Now the police started using tear gas.
I see. Okay.
So looking at that, I think that the protester, if you really have something you really want to protest, those people that should be able to cook that food and carry and go give it to people. Why should they go and cook at an executive mansion? Okay. Who tells them that teaching?
Okay. All right, my brother. Thank you for
your
thank you. Folks, we're still here. Two people have been calling here. Let me call one of them back. And I normally don't do this, but I will do that now because this person's been calling forever. Let me see if I can reach them and see what comment they want to make here because I've been calling. Every time they call, the call is not coming through. I'm either on the line with somebody else.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. This is Sam Sinto, LIBERIA Public Radio. You're in a noisy background. Can you try to extricate yourself?
Yeah, okay. Okay, let me get myself a little bit. Yeah, this is Kiz. Hello.
Okay, all right, Kiz. Yeah, I saw your mini-based call, so I thought that I'd call you back. I know perhaps you have something you want to contribute to the conversation here. What's on your mind, sir?
Yeah, I'm trying to follow you guys. Not just trying, but then follow you guys on your show. And it interested me to speak to some key issues, as it relates to our own, country, Liberia. Especially reference to the protest today.
Right, go ahead.
Yeah, so as it relates to the protest today, I know from my own independent, opinion, the protest went well. The protesters were in accordance with the law. In fact, I didn't just watch one star. I was able to flip almost all the channels today. I look at Smooth FM, Sen TV, KMTC, all those, some other personal podcasts, and other live videos and all those stuff to make sure that to see every part of the protest side or maybe like Liberia to the moment today,
to know what's really obtaining. In fact, I watched the protesters that were to 12th Street area. They were wanted to use the main route, the boulevard, but then the police said no. So you can send, or one of them to the protester and said, since the police said you should not use the main route, the police provided alternative route for all, 2 different alternative route for all. Either 12th Street to Jonathan or 9th Street to Jonathan. So you're supposed to leave the boulevard. Boulevard is not the protesting site. You can use the other route. And then the guy listened to their police and they used the other route. So I think they were peaceful and they were law abiding in the process. But to my ultimate surprise to see the tear gas, the article hot water, colors were fired on all the protesters. That beat my imagination because the protesters said they will cook, or in fact they were cooking in the street. Though it may not be correct, but the government had means of getting them, peacefully to get them out of the street. A Yeke can control the group from 12th Street side today. A Yeke can control the group from the other side today. I think if the police or the leaders or the security today, the joint security was to get and the rest of the guys today and tell them, say no, the process did not call for people to cook in the street, and therefore we are asking you people to leave the street or don't cook in the street or don't bring or civil material in the street. I think they will listen. Then they'll just fire tear gas, among those free armless surveillance today. They were suffering from the tear gas. Even the journalists was suffering from the tear gas and the fire. I mean, the water colors. So on the part of the government, they're wrong, and I think I condemn that for the side of the national police and the security apparatus for what they did today. It was wrong.
Thank you, my brother. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Again, folks, Samson told LeBron Public Radio. Somebody else is just trying calling here. Give me a call here. That's a 571 number. Give me a call. And I'll wait for your call. In fact, I'll wait for your call because I don't want to call back. I call Emmanuel KZ because I know who he is. But I don't want to call. Samson to LeBron Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
This Mars here. I just wanted to add a little piece to with that. There's a part that I think we missed the whole picture here. I was saying that the government had a legit reason for the fire. The emphasis is placed on the fire. Come on, Doug. We live in Liberia. I live in Liberia. I was 17, 18 years old. I'm 40-something years old. Grown man. Been in America for a long time.
Only 40-something? Did you say only 40?
But here's a picture here. Prior to that, there were some individuals who were caught with weaponry and things. So that had to factor in. So these are individuals that were not part of the protest, but they were caught, and they were handed over to the police.
Right.
So now factor that in. There's a tension already on the ground. So if you have an outside group that would come into there and try to attack the protester while there's a fire on the ground, it would have escalated to something. So I'm not trying to take anybody's side here. But the point here is that the way the government about handling the situation was even more devastating than, you know what I mean? Like I said before, like taking a hammer and a slice hammer and build a fly with it. Right. They could have handled it in the right way, give out more information. Okay, so there's some information, there's a tension on the ground. What we would like to do, talk to the COP leaders, let them know that there are tension on the ground. And if that tension escalates, the fire can be very dangerous because the place we are is a mansion, and you know what I mean. So let's be careful with the try to contain the fire, because that's what I kept hearing about the fire. Yeah. The main mention of the fire, the emphasis was about the fire. Okay. So they may have had legit reason for the fire, right, but the way they went about doing it was the one that is very, very problematic, and yeah. So let us, I mean, calm it down with the cooking and all that. We cook many a times in the streets.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Okay. Folks, I think I'm seeing some numbers that are just coming in now. I think I'm going to be here for maybe another 5 minutes or so. So we'll take this one. San Santo LIBERIA Public Radio. What's your name and where you're calling from? Please lower your monitor if you don't mind.
Oh, my name is Samuel Amos.
Okay, all right. Mr. Amos, thank you for joining us. What's on your mind?
Oh, what is on my mind concerning this whole protesting that happened in Liberia? I have been monitoring this from this morning. Let's say from 1 o'clock, I was flying in the U.S. I have been monitoring. When it comes to the water and the spread, the police, before they take that action, are monitoring. They call the head of the COP, told them that we cannot allow fire into this place, especially it's where we have public bidding, and also we have a lot of surveillance around, and you guys also have a generator and a gas on it. So we want for you guys to off that fire. They refuse, so they put off the fire. So they got to, the police have to call the independent or human rights or commission to talk to them, to go and tell them. When those guys went and informed them, they agreed that they were going to off the fire. As soon as the police turned up back, they let by the fire and monitor everything. The police, when the police got the information that they lost the fire, and I saw the journalists hearing or going back to them, seeing it, and they said the journalists shooting folks, and then or video on them or taking a picture. They barricaded the whole area. Police went and told them that they should move. They said that they can't move. I saw one or two said he had talked to them and he fired. While he won that, he had already getting all of that. The fire should go up. But the police now just went and started spraying the water. The police waited for almost 7 minutes, saying those guys to move. They refused. They even sat down. They said, everybody stay down. Everybody stay down. They said they can't move. So the police gave them time. At the end, the police had to spray that water down, so everybody started running away. And they started throwing stones back at the police. That's why the police went behind them all the way in Jalapa and other communities. So, although the police, they have the right to protest, they've been protesting from in the morning up to 5. It was after 5, almost 6 o'clock, when that incident took place. You know, you cannot defy. If I see people saying, we can't move, we were 2 days back. You can't fight the government, no matter what. You can't fight the government.
Okay.
That's what I have to say. They never have no right to let fire in a public gallery where they have gas and all of things. It could pop up. So many people can die and get public business. Who knows what will happen? They already said that they were going to do that the next time. Why are they going to burn the mansion or the heart? No, we know.
Okay. Thank you, my brother. We appreciate it. Folks, like I said, I think I'm going to be here for because people are calling now. More people are calling. Mr. Cummings, if you're listening, just give me a call here. Give me a call and let's hear what you have to say. That's Cummings. Give me a call. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Cummings. What's on your mind, sir? I mean, you've been listening, I hope, all of the conversation here. Like, what more can you add on it?
Well, Mr. Cho, good evening and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Well, the only thing I like the other callers said, I follow most of the events when it started this morning. Lately, when I watched the COP press briefing, I was just kind of speechless a little bit because from what I saw from the embryo stages to what I'm hearing now, because those parts I didn't see, but I was watching the press statement. But what I'm going to say to our people is this, Mr. Tu. We all understand by constitutional design, it is enshrined in our constitution that the people have the right to peacefully assemble. But there is something that most young people need to catch. We are concentrating on the executive We're not also concentrating on the legislators. Another group of people that we're taking our eyes on and are not focusing on them, the time is not taken that will lead to a chaotic situation tomorrow are the young people in the proliferation of ghettos in our country. I hope our people govern themselves. You see, you can see the friction in the country now. The church, the religious people, the political parties, the different precious groups. I think there's a need for a real national dialogue. There is the need. And I hope that media practitioners will be a part. Because, Mr. Tu, when you listen to the different radio and television stations in the country, your skin will itch as to whether these people are disseminating the right information to calm the situation or to serve as the medium through which the people can get through enlightenment. I think our people are living at the edge of the table. And for me, as a man of God and as a journalist, I will only conscientize my people to seek the face of God. Because in situations like this, the devil looks for means so that people can spill blood. He craves for blood. He craves for violence. And I pray that this entire situation will just come and go and that the government will see reason to address some of the issues that are unfolding in our country.
That's such a true statement. But thank you, Mr. Comey. I really appreciate that. And I think our brothers and sisters will do well to try to listen to that advice. But thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Samson Toll, I think you'll be my last caller here. Samson Toll, LIBERIA Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from? Or what's on your mind?
My name is Tony Johnson, calling from Minnesota.
Okay, Mr. Johnson. Thank you very much. What's on your mind, sir?
I would like to say the government is not right for what it did.
Okay, that's it?
Reason being is because when the people were protesting, there is nothing in the Constitution that states that people should not cook. If we respect chapter building, while lawmakers are going in there fighting. In the past, people did not go ahead and cook. Lawmakers should protect our country, but they did not. So today, lawmakers should be the one to say they did not put that in place. The people said it over and over. Yes, I came on air and said, I will have facts. We will cook. They took a statement for granted. It happens today. Now they want to pour water on the people. Tear gas on the people.
Kind of think about it. You could call about ban on Facebook with pots lined up in your yard. How many pots he gonna take? And we all took it for granted and make fun of him. Of course, you're right. Go ahead, my brother.
I'm saying those are things that we needed to put in place. COP, they talk a lot. They brought all these plans out. But today, the Liberian people wrong. I personally, the first thing when they said there was people cooking, they were cooking over there. I said, let me see. I watched the video. They had the cook pot with pot in there. If we're so concerned about the fire, they did not go near that place with fire. They were particular about the
Okay.
So there's nothing those people did wrong at that point. I don't think any fools should have been used.
Thank you, my brother. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Samson Toll, LIBERIA Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from? And what's on your mind?
Yeah, Fasia Peters. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you for calling. What's on your mind?
Yeah, what is on my mind? I'm just trying to get into what that call either said to you. And I was talking about what the police said 102 were talking about. I was all 7 a.m. this morning when my son was walking to the door to school. And I monitor everything from 7 up to the riot, and I stay going with it. Like the national police, they never treated the COP or the Liberian people fair at all. Because for one step, when he went to talk to them, when they started the discussion, him and I went and talked to the protesters and tell them, oh, yeah, you know, you take the copper another place. You know, if I see a laser or a snake, and I see a laser anywhere, I'm going to run. I will take it to be a snake for one set. And the people that they caught with the arm, everything today, I watched everything from start to end. When Costa got there first, when they waited for Yaka to come back, when they cracked everything, I watched everything from start to end this month since 7 o'clock. And I prayed to be off that day, and I was off. So, like, when he talking about the, what is it, human rights one, and talk to the protesters, not human rights, 1 or 2 talk to protesters, and they didn't listen, this to that, so that is not true. 1 or 2 said that if the human rights were police, they would do the same old thing. So, all came from the head. So, like, the police, like, they even taking on where you're going to meet the people at and where you're going to say. And right now, the police should be careful because their life is in danger and their family life is in danger. What they did, they should be very, very careful. Because I know our Liberian people, what they do.
Okay,
I know what next going to happen. I'm saying that, and I know what to do. Police station will start burning down. And police people will be hunted in neighborhood and the family. Because that was not right at all. He already tried to talk to you, 1 or 2 things, he don't want to talk to the people. Why would you do that? You're going to see the same people you're going to walk, and you live in the same country. Okay. That wasn't fair at all because the protest was so peaceful. I was really enjoying it, and everything was going on good. I really admire the protest today. It was very good. I really admire. I never watched June 7 for this. It was so good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You're welcome.
Samson told LeBron, what's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
My name is Mary Samuel. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you for joining us this evening. What's on your mind, man?
Yes, thank you. I want to say thank you for this show. I just want to give my input. Even if you hit somebody and you don't want to see the ground the person walk on, but you're going to say the truth about what happened. We are in the United States. We are traveling in Western world to learn and get transformation back in our country. If we see something that is not right, let's just be truthful and say it's not right. I'm not a physician, neither am I a supporter of the opposition or COP. But the truth should be the truth for our kids that are coming out in our country to know what an ethic is. Our kids are coming out in our country to know that this behavior is not right. If I do this, I want to disgrace unto my family. What's the truth about things people can say? Is it right? What teaching are we imparting to our children? Go in the street and fuck. I'm so disappointed in some people that are calling to say they say for ready to fuck. What's the sad person that ever fuck in the street? How many times our parents ever took part from home to come and fuck in the street? Or is it because you don't even want to hear the word George Weah? If you don't want to hear the name George Weah, any other person, relax, mobilize, support 2023, and let him get out of the office. But don't be misleading our children in that country. That's misleading information, and because some of us in this country, we are our children, and our children are not bad who we are misleading the less fortunate people that can afford to come in this country, children. Where in the world, even the great United States, they do protests, I agree. Where in the world you ever see protesters suing the police officers? That, for example, what happened today? That's not right at all. It's a disgrace, it's a shame. And then for people to sit up and try to bite them, nobody against protest. Go ahead and do your protest. But why are you walking in the street?
You know what if prepare that quota way? You know if the phone drop on our quota, what will explode? And you know going to destroy our children? They are the same people with that I say.
Let me interrupt you a little bit here. You kill me, lady. Because what you're talking about, the quota and fire, you're talking about flashpoint when it comes to roadway. It takes the flashpoint. Go ahead. I'm not going to touch that. But go ahead.
And they're coming out and saying that no constitution said it when I'm caught in the street. Are we going mad? Are we insane? Is that a training we're imparting in our children in Liberia, our future generations? When we are being left, when we are no longer on the scene, to tell them, yeah, when we're ready for protest, go to the executive marshal and vote. Even you not get respect for the president, you can't get respect for the marshal for God's sake. If you got respect for your lawmakers, you can't get respect for the parliament for God's sake. Okay. So there are other people there. So tomorrow you could be there. How respectful will it be for somebody to do that? Then you're sitting there saying the government did it, the government they must soon the police will enforce their eyeball and kill. They are somebody's husband, they are somebody's father, they are somebody's mother. They must stand out for nothing. People can't scrape for them for no reason. For crazy like we have been there tomorrow. They will say, okay.
Okay, sister, we can't say for crazy for nothing people. We can't say that about our own brothers and sisters.
I apologize for that, but I'm so upset, my brother.
I know.
I retract that statement.
Thank you. But we all.
I retract that statement. But my family is one for other in this country. We're learning. We see people protesting in America here. We have never seen people sue police. We have never seen people put in a great in front of the executive, the White House, neither the parliament. Okay. So I'm just upset, I'm just frustrated, I'm just disappointed. We need to say the truth. It was wrong today. They have started a food. They could have cooked food. They could have get caterers to cook and bring the food to the people to eat. But not cooking in the street.
Thank you.
So honestly, it was very wrong from the protesters side today to cook on the street and sue our police. That was being very respectful to our peacemakers who are the police officers. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Again, folks, Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, it's just difficult now for me to leave when I see the number keep going up, people keep calling in. And I think that the subject matter is now becoming very interesting here. The lady was talking about when the fire hit the quota, it's going to explode. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, what's your name, where you're calling from, what's on your mind?
I'm calling from Rhode Island, and this Delay Williams.
Yeah.
The last caller that just left, I don't know, but very sure informed about what happened in Liberia. I've been watching the protest since 5 a.m. this morning. Okay, what the police did to our citizens for not right. Okay, we got a right to assemble, and that's what they did. And if even they carry part to court, because they were staying there for the whole day, nobody was leaving and nobody was coming in, going off. So they decided to board just such this over there. Okay, if it happened that way and they didn't like it, they just go to the leaders and say, oh, you guys they want to protest. We don't want fire or we don't want anything like fire around here. It's dangerous. Did they do that? I even listened to the human rights guy. The man said he talked to one or two. He said, okay, let me go and talk to the people to stop to call us the cookie. He didn't even leave for 5 minutes. 106 or 208 or how you call him said that he got a mandate that they should disperse the people. Okay? They started stooning. I saw police people stooning. Okay? They started stooning the protesters first. So what's she talking about?
Okay.
Those are our people. It's very hurtful that we got people in Liberia. You even go to the bank, you can't get your money out to feed your children, to support your children. Some of us said, yeah, we got to do overtime to start our family members to pay their children's school fees, put food on their table, pay their rent. Okay? It's not fair.
Thank you.
What they did was very wrong.
Thank you. Folks, again, Sam, thank you, my sister. We appreciate it. Folks, this is Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I know these things are very, very difficult for all of us. These are emotional issues. And so when you're speaking, don't forget there are other Liberians that might not agree with you. And even not just necessarily hating you or don't just want to agree with you, but these are emotional issues. And so let us be careful how we address these things, because the idea of this type of platform is for us to find a room where we will be able to have some sort of a compromise, or where we will be able to find a way forward. We can't just do it on the past that brought us here and say we should have done this or this person should have done more, and what have them, we're going nowhere. So I will ask you guys, if you're going to be calling, try to find a voice within you, the other part of you that perhaps might be able to find a solution. We can't come on these platforms, get out of here and be more angry than it was when we got here. Then we're not doing you a favor. This is a platform where we come in to discuss, and hopefully through the discussion that we will be able to obtain some sort of a satisfaction or some sort of silence in the fact that we're even here on a Monday afternoon, Monday night, and be able to express ourselves. Let us don't be the area that will create more agitation within your spirit. Let me call Mr. Soul, and then I will call it quit for the night, folks, because these things are very, very emotional issues, and we want to make sure that we stay on top of it. Let me call Mr. Soul and see how far we want to go on this here. Yeah, Mr. Soul, you've been calling, but every time you call someone else, it's on the line. It's hectic. I'm not too sure. Number keep going up. People keep calling, so I'm not too sure which way we're going to go here. But go ahead and make your point, sir.
All right, Samson, good evening, and thank you for this show. It is such an important one, and I know the tensions I saw her at this time, like you rightfully said. But again, I just want to re-echo what you are doing. You know, people just do not know when they are talking. They don't even know who to talk to and stuff like that. But we will begin to take some really actions on people who do not want to have some sort of civility in there. And they think they can just insult anybody. And I'm making specific reference because for me, I'm just who I am. Rose Riemann, Johnny, Guy, and Danny Sharif. Who attack our correspondent this evening to using some uncomfortable word that is unacceptable. If people want to cause money, cause or whatever, they have tons of platforms here they can go to them. Mike Dan is a decent journalist. All right, he reports for Deutsche Welle. He worked for UC. He was a capital building reporter. He worked as a station manager in Liberia, resigned before coming volunteer. Since 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock this morning, I've been monitoring all news outlets here. Look, this is what I've come to realize. We Liberians, the people, the stupid people in Liberia are in majority than the people that have sense. And that's the problem that we have. We need to learn how to face reality. The process was very, very peaceful this morning. We all monitor it as well. What went wrong? People are now inserting themselves, trying to use their own perceptions or try to figure out to see what has happened. But I strongly believe to some extent the GOL or the police also keep the can down the road. And COP should be held responsible. I have said this consistently. COP needs a good organizational structure. They need to have a legal counsel. In the cause of liberation, it's not an easy thing. There is a lot of consequences involved. And they need to understand that. All right? Let's be honest here. If they have all of these legal or if they have technical, anger, emotion did not exceed their expectation. If you who wants to execute something, you have to be a little bit moderate because you have an objective. How many of these people have realized that even today's protest, let's look at the arrival of Henry Costa as compared to what happened today. They should have capitalized on that momentum to make sure they do everything possible they can because the international community, the Liberian people, by and large, pivoted in their direction to get this going. There is no question about that. The bad governance of George Weah, it is the same behavior, it is the same lack of critical thinking that all of us that are tweeting and writing nonsense on this network, some of them were in Liberia, they're the ones get brought to this George Weah that we have today. They are trying to get brought to another group of people who they do not want us to hold them accountable. It doesn't matter what they are opposition. If they had a technical meeting, for example, all of these details were being worked out. Listen to this, and it was good our correspondent was He was there in a live press conference. This is what Taylor Euro said. People gotta listen, and you listen to people, you need to comprehend what people are saying. We will be willing to work with police if they believe our people were coping like we have done in the past. What is she saying here? These are some of the incoherent messages of both the government and the COP that led us to this situation. COP knew you should have made adequate preparation. Can you have a peaceful demonstration? I was involved in 1986 when the Estepna during almost a military regime of Samuel Doe. We were involved in a demonstration that was very, very much chaotic. But people carried placards, we were insulting, we were doing everything. Are you saying that people should be protesting and you go pour in the street? That's stupidness. It's because the leadership, they just fail to look at the pivoting of their need direction. All right? That's not something they should have done. They was already they were already creating a recipe for a potential chaos. You can't go pour fire in the streets and knowing what the nature of this protest and what people were saying, whether directly or indirectly by both supporters. The government people were acting crazy. The COP people were acting crazy. They did not stand up to the task to tell their leaders what they were doing because they have a mission to achieve. So you were invited into a situation that will brought a potential problem. So why can't we face it as it is? If we do not handle it now, that's how that country will end up being like Mogadishu, Angola, and all of these countries are having all of these issues here. In 2016, about 6 journalists were killed. 2015, about 34 journalists were killed. Worldwide, 48 journalists. And if you go down and down, you have about 250 now from both Iraq and Syria, Libya, and all of that. So we have people, when journalists is giving a report, because you feel that it doesn't pivot in your direction, the man can only tell you what he sees. There are 3 things that involve into this business: the eyewitness, the bystander, and what you see for yourself. And then I saw somebody writing, they said it was shooting in the Yakaluba area. So are you saying what he doesn't see, he should just report on speculation? I don't think that's how it's supposed to be. But here is the thing, and I said this: the opposition, the government, they need to find a common ground. The international community will find.
We're getting a Liberian call here, Mr. So let me just take this call, please, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Samson to Liberian Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from, and what's on your mind?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, that was Socrates calling. I call you from Monrovia.
Thank you very much for calling in all the way from Monrovia. Thank you very much. I know it's late over there, but this is the Liberia Public Radio Show, a talk show host by Samson Toll. What's on your mind?
Well, I would just like to express my disagreement and to some extent also appreciate some of you in the diaspora that tried to stand provide clarity on issue as they unfold in our nation's capital. Because sometimes when we have the wrong people sending the wrong messages, to some extent, and it's not just the government's reputation, but the entire country as a whole. And sometimes it baffles some of us when people try to just politicize issues that have the propensity to block development for the entire country. We cannot continue to go into a cycle of hatred in this country where people say seditions did this before, so we have to do it now. For the degree at which you have done it was not done yesterday. But like, if you accept that, even if we accept that, yes, it was done yesterday, so you have to do it, what guarantee do we have that the next person comes in, the same people we are doing against will also rise against the other person? So we'll have this vicious cycle of hatred, and the country as a result will go nowhere. And so we appreciate some of you, people who think that Liberia will continue to retrogress, and you continue to create a platform that our people in the diaspora can be able to understand through the interventions of followers and different people who are honest about their ideas and their views of things occurred here. I mean, COP have long been crying about the issue of Article 17, but at no point did Article 17 give you the right to go and cook
I don't
at
mean
your
to,
nation's
I don't mean to
capital.
interrupt. I don't mean to interrupt. Are you a member of the government or just a Liberian citizen who is speaking from an observation?
Well, I do work for the government. I am an executive member of the CDC, the ruling party.
Okay.
At some point, we love to speak about these things just based on the fact that we are nationalistic.
No, I'm not asking about that. I just wanted to know because the reason I'm asking, I think the information that you're providing here, even calling from Liberia, that means very important to all of us, and we appreciate that. And to be able to give us some information that perhaps we might not have privilege to understand, it's a good thing. And I think some of you that are over there that see these things, because I think you seem to be an objective person. But if you see these things, sometimes you need to get in touch with some of us and then bring you on and have these kinds of fruitful discussion. But go ahead and make your point, my brother.
Yeah, and I'll be willing, moving forward, I'll be willing to appear off the platform anytime because I read, so I still have a little late because I have to read some of the international channels and stuff like that. But the issue is that you invoked a particular clause or a particular article in our Constitution that gives you the right to peacefully assemble. But reading through the article, it does not give you the right to also go and use somebody else's or some public space to go and create some hazardous substance that we refer to as fire. Because the population that you have, that whether that little matches take your life, is considered to be hazardous because somebody could take that and use it for something else that is effective, and that could cause destruction. And so that's what I think the COP, along with their leadership or advisors, shot themselves in the leg because you cannot consider something to be peaceful is be using hazardous substances in your peaceful rally or peaceful assembly. And I think we need to move forward because the entire world is watching us. The entire region is watching Liberia. But every decade, Liberia leads from war and we go to another decade of peace, another decade of war, and just back and forth. And so I think it's about time that we graduate. Nobody is stopping people from channeling their differences, but you can do that in a respectful manner. You can do that in an organized manner so that when this government should have left power, it creates a basis, it creates some foundation for the next person that is coming. But if you continue to tear down one government, destroy the foundation, from where do you begin? It's somebody you're gonna come out of the one and start to do things from scratch.
I don't mean to interrupt, but like I said, we didn't pay for your call, so I feel bad for even interrupt because it costs money. And at least if
no
we
problem. You don't have to worry about the credit. I can stay as long as I can.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, then let me push you a little bit on this here. Before I go in to make a question about the past, let me ask you this. You being a member of the ruling party, do you think the protesters and the organizers themselves were not in any position to listen to any kinds of information from the government in terms of flammable materials being on the site where the protesters having hundreds of people all around, that perhaps that could be dangerous having that? Were they kind of resistant to that kinds of explanation from the government? Is that what you're saying? They were not listening to people?
They were not following the instructions that were given to them by the Liberia National Police. Like say for instance, if an officer walks to you in the U.S. and tell you that, sir, give me a driver license. By law, you are required to hand over your driver license. At that point, you cannot question the officer as to whether you violate any traffic rules or not. I think you submit before you start to act if you see something fishy. So if you took fire to the Capitol building where you have all government properties, you have the University of Liberia, you have the Legislative Mansion, you have the Temple of Justice, you have the Legislature House, and someone tells you that you cannot light your food pot here or you cannot light fire here because it is not appropriate.
Quite correct. Quite correct.
Even
here in the United States, in your own backyard, if you start a fire that a neighbor called the fire department, you might get fined. Depends on the height of the fire. It doesn't matter whether in your backyard. The fire is not anything to play with. But let me push you a little bit on one other point that you made here, that the government is an institution that's supposed to be building structure. And if you continue to, as the Liberians or as the people, continue to damage the structure or the foundation, as you call it, continue to damage that, then the next government that perhaps will come in most likely will not have a good footing. So let me ask you this, as member of the ruling party, do you now regret some of the tearing down of the so-called foundation that was being built by the previous government? Do you now regret some of your action as a opposition that was so much involved in many of these acts that is now happening? Are you now in a position to say you regret those things, or those are not something that you're quite ready perhaps to disassociate yourself with here tonight?
Well, let me just say this, and I think for the record, many people listening need to understand this. Most of the time, when there was a protest, or when there was a demonstration from the part of the CDC, then in opposition, it was geared towards two primary goals. One, the establishment of the war crime court, because we believe at the time that the gun that liberated should not rule. Madam Salim, being the queen of the rebels, we believe that she was not in an appropriate position to lead the country at the time. That's number one. Number two, most of our demonstrations were geared towards electoral malpractices, where we believe that elections were won and was to some extent being cheated. Those were the two basic reasons for which demonstrations have been led. And we all know what happened to us in 2011, November 7, and other instances where advocates from the CSC went on themselves. Even when you were announcing protests, police were already on you before even going in the streets.
That's right.
This is not happening today. And there was no point at which you see a sedition protester talking about arming people to go and bring down government or waging war against poor Liberia. So at no point the magnitude of violence that is going on today cannot be compared to what happened yesterday. And at no point any executive member of the party ever fought for any step down campaign. There were partisans from the CDC, but it was not under the banner of the party. It was not under the banner of the executive committee. It was not even endorsed.
So I'm glad that you can afford. You see, God is just wonderful. To bring you on here tonight, I think, even though it's late in Liberia, but I think for you to have come out here and give us this opportunity to talk to you, someone who has been involved, someone who has been in the trenches of CDC and now in the ruling party, I think God is wonderful to us here tonight. So I will, if you don't mind, I will push you a little bit to give me some more information if you care. Now, with this government being in the ruling party, the economy of the country, are you satisfied with the way the economy of this country is going?
We will say absolutely no. And this has been expressed by the president. This has been expressed by the party through the executive committee. This has been expressed by ordinary citizens. We admit to the fact that there are economic challenges in the country. But whenever, this is my philosophy, everybody can have a problem. Everybody can have a misfortune. But what do you do thereafter in solving or moving over that challenge is what is important. Is the government not making effort to resolve some of these problems? The government is making or taking tremendous steps towards resolving these problems. And I can just name a few. The IMF have put forth a program that Liberia, being a poor country, cannot be having a wage bill that is more than, it's not like you making $5 and you living in a $100 apartment. Doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Does not make sense. And because but previous government did not listen or adhere to what was recommended by the IMF because they had some international support far more than what this government has. You have peacekeepers here that were infusing millions of dollars into the economy. So at that point, it could not be implemented.
If you're going to be talking about wage bill, then I need to push you on that a little bit. Will you not agree that the wage bill issue was self-inflicted by the CDC-led government?
No, absolutely no. It was not.
Okay.
It wasn't. It wasn't. Let me tell you, my late father, Dr. Ezra Kalon, for example, I'm just using it as an example.
Yes.
Because, and people need to understand this, the name Kalon originated from the United Party. My father was the first senator of the United Party and a founding member of the United Party. But he was still in government, and we were opposed to government because we believed that particular party did not have the interest of the masses. But he, at the time, working as a commissioner of the Governance Commission, was making about $10,000. He was receiving scratch cards. He was receiving gasoline. Under this government, it's not happening. There's no government official that makes more than $7,000 in this country. And even if they do, they're not receiving scratch cards, they're not receiving gasoline.
But why is it?
Isn't that an effort?
I'm not trying to sympathize with your position here. No, I'm not trying to push you on the other side. I'm just being factual. I don't want people to accusing me of being sympathetic to your position. That's not what it is. But what I want to find out from you is this. Why is it that this government it's not seen to be in the position of trying to talk to the people? For example, the president of the Republic of Liberia, duly elected, 61.5% of the people of Liberia elected Dr. Weah. So my question to you is this. If you guys know all of these things and you can explain very well, because it seemed to me also, sedition are educated as well. So you do have the ability to explain. Why is it that this president and not capable of not use the word capable, but not coming out to explain to his own brothers and sisters what is transpiring in the country? Instead, he has people filling in the gap that is missing. Look at the 4 or 5 minutes that you have spent with us here. There's tremendous information, as far as I'm concerned, that you have provided here tonight that perhaps might be able to dissuade some of the doubters of CDC and its operation. Why aren't you guys doing more of that?
All right. So to this end, I give you three different instances. When the president first took power in his first year, he called on all opposition leaders, and I was in a very meeting at Berekasa Hotel, right after speech. They met in a meeting. You had people who are today advisors or officials of the CPP walk out of that meeting. There was a meeting called for politicians of all walks of life in this republic to put ideas together and see how best we all can move forward in solving our national economic problems. That's number one. Number two, you have a president who has also embraced the idea of collaboration. And that's the reason why when you look today in the cabinet, you see more opposition cabinet ministers than you even found divisions or the ruling party. The last one here is that if you look at the combination of the leadership of COP, you will find out that these are people who lost the election in 2017, have announced themselves, regroup themselves, and their entire leadership comprises of people from the different political parties that lost elections. So how can you refer to those kind of people to be Liberian people? They're not Liberian people. They're not part of the 14.5 counties that elected this government of power. Because if they were, there should be different people at the top leadership of this UP. So that's a contradiction. And you need to know this.
Go ahead. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. So to that end, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And I'm really enjoying engaging you. First of all, if you don't mind me asking for your name again, so that I can jog it down here, and hopefully, because I got your number here, maybe I can contact you, because I think having conversation with you will help to enlighten a lot of people. So, what's your name again? You say?
My name is Dauda Socrates Kalon.
Okay, Dauda
Socrates Kalon. I am a natural resource professional.
Okay, Colons.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, Dauda Sekul J. Kalon. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. You said a lot here, but I have two more questions before I can take a leave of you here this evening. And which to say again, we're not paying for your car. And I really, really do appreciate you taking question from me. That's a bonus here as far as I'm concerned. So let me ask you this. You talk about the president when he first started, he engaged permanent Liberian stakeholders, and some people walked out, as you correctly stated. Quite recently, the president also asked to have a dialogue, economic dialogue. And I think that dialogue happened. Was there any result, any kinds of paper presented to the president? If so, has there been any return from the president of what he thinks, or how is he going to utilize such information?
Yes, I'm aware of the dialogue that took place. I think it was 5 days or 3 days of dialogue at the new ministerial complex. And after that dialogue, there was a committee set up to spearhead the dialogue and then submit the report originating from that dialogue to the president, or the recommendation originating from the dialogue to the president for some consideration. And that was done.
So the president now has that recommendation.
So you have those recommendations, and I'm sure throughout this policy for 2020 and moving forward, those recommendations originating from eminent Liberians will be infused into our national policy.
I see. Okay, one last question, and that is, you stated also that those who are now leaders most of them that are in the leadership of the COP are those who didn't win election. Instead of coming around, and I'm just paraphrasing, coming around to work in as one group because the president believed in inclusion, as you stated. Now they're taking side and somehow trying to do whatever. So are you suggesting this evening, sir, that as long as they didn't win election, does that negate the fact that they are Liberian and that they've decided to organize, to challenge, or to protest this government? Is that supposed to negate that because they didn't win election?
That doesn't negate the fact that they are Liberian. It will never negate the fact that they are Liberian. But we are looking at the exterior motives of this group. We are looking at the exterior motive of this group that is just headed by one person who, whenever he goes on vacation and he needs some money to put in his pocket, he creates some instability or creates some climate of instability. And you think you can use that to bring a vast sympathy from the already suffering Liberians and put them in the streets. So we are saying if the people of this country, we are not saying things are fine, but if the people were being led by themselves, without the help of these defeated politicians, then I can sit there and tell you that yes, the Liberian people are speaking or demanding their government to address their concerns. But when they are being led or when they are being triggered by someone else, and they create some motion that something cannot move without something being enforced.
I will do my audience and myself this service here this evening if I just let it go now, because that was the last question. But the fact that you have entwined the conversation with another body, I'm forced to now ask you one. And I hope that will be the last question. Because you're calling from all over the Liberia and it's real late over there. The question that I have, when you made a comment, people who are coming for vacation, and I've heard this here before, how do you guys come up with that kinds of conclusion? From what perspective, sir?
Well, I mean, this is an open secret. We all know that the COP chairperson is a student. He's a student in America, and I was a student. I was a student at Temple University in Philadelphia, and I went on to Boston in Indiana to do my master's. And I always came home for vacation at this hour, at this time. So we know these things.
Yes,
we know these things. This guy is not on any scholarship. He's not on any scholarship. So you try to use the Liberian people to pay your school fees, or you try to manipulate your way through governance to get some compensation as a result of creating some chaotic atmosphere that people go and negotiate. Then we are obliged to say that you came on vacation to organize and get some property to go and enjoy yourself.
Okay, Kalon, Mr. Kalon, I will just leave it as that. This number that I have here that's showing up here, is that a correct number that I can contact sometime if I need to have some sort of one-on-one conversation with you? Because I think I will really enjoy that. Can I do that?
Yeah, that's my number. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, my name is also, I am with Liberian Public Radio. My name is Samson Tone, and Mr. Alfonso Zionso, who is the CEO, of course, he's listening as well. So there might be time that, because they think about it here, Mr. Collin, that I really enjoy you, and like I said, it's a God bless for you to be on here tonight, because we need people like you, not that we're going to agree with you, not that we're going to agree with you, or not that you're going to agree with us, but at least that would give our people an opportunity to engage. And as long as we engage with each other, we try to eliminate some of the doubt that other people might have, because just by explaining, you try to give more information out there that perhaps might be relevant in the decision-making process of those who perhaps might not be on your side. And so I really appreciate it, and I would say thank you very much, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, Mr. Carlon. Appreciate it, sir.
No problem. Thank you for having me on your platform. We'll always be around to be Mr. Sardinate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, folks, Sam Sinto, Liberian Public Radio. That was another doozy. And it is a godsend, to be honest with you, because I wasn't expecting that. Someone who is in the ruling party who seemed to be knowledgeable of the inner workings of CDC. And take this last one. Last caller, please. Last caller, and I'll be out of here. Thank you very much, Sam Sinto. What's your name? Where you're calling from? And what's on
Thank you very much. Thank you for that beautiful interview with that brilliant physician, and allows to make the whole thing up. Taking us completely from the hook with the good information he gave you. So, Brother Toro, this is what happening in our country. What happened today? Let me first of all commend the Liberian people and the organizer of the protest, peaceful protest today. Mr. Heron Costa and his counterparts. What is happening in Liberia, the reason why the president here speak to the Liberian people is what you just heard from that young, brilliant man that just spoke. You see, if we have the type of set mind always that somebody is in America, he can only come to Liberia to look for money for him to come here and pay his school fees. But Mr. Foster has a whole house. He has businesses, both here and Liberia. Don't you think we, the Liberians, that are standing up for our people, are we paying the Foster school fees on his mortgage? No. No. The reason why the president can't speak to us, it means that those that are around him. Somebody asked me the same question. It was Lofa Jr. Lofa Jr. asked me the same question that you asked this man today. And I told Lofa Jr. our problem in Liberia is Liberian themselves. If the president can come up and tell the Liberian people, say, look, gentlemen, you're forgetting, as you said from the beginning, there will be no protest. But you know, let me go back to my fourth grade class. I beg you.
That was 500 years. 500
no,
years ago.
I'm talking about pomposity. You know, the English we used to use way back when I was in the fourth grade, 1978. We used to say, "Oh, the person put up pomposity." Everybody in real government. Everybody in real government. There are more educated people in real government than formal government. Let me say it because I will now talk about my lady, President Doe, Dr. Doe. That real problem is his own people in his own government. Their brother spoke, he's a very brilliant guy. The question you asked him for the first time I ever heard him on your show is that other people, they would not answer that question. He answered them brilliantly. But at the end result, for him to call his fellow Liberian.
My brother, another Liberian call is coming in. Look at people, I'm not too sure if I will get out of here. So can you call me back? Let me answer the Liberian call, please. Okay. Samson told Liberian Public Radio, what's your name? Where you're calling from? I know you're calling from Liberia, but what's on your mind?
Yeah, this is Kalon again. I thank you. Can you please give me the name of your show? I think I lost the name.
Oh, it's Liberian Public Radio, Conversation with Samson Toll.
Okay. All right, I got it. Thank you.
Could you please pass on to Dr. Weir as well that we would love to have him on our platform as well sometime. This is an intellectual platform where we allow people to express themselves freely, and we jealously guide our guests that nobody on our show, when you come here to express yourself, we make sure that you're protected at all times. So please tell Dr. We have something to would like to talk to him on his platform as well, if you don't mind.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
No problem. I will. Thank you.
Okay, folks, Samson told Liberian Public Radio. I hope Dr. Weir will come. Will that not be something? If Dr. Weir come on my show, I will sell all my children there. Samson told. Folks. Yeah, my brother, I'm sorry. There was a Liberia call when I saw that, but I think you're making some good point. I'm very, very sorry. I know you and I have gone through the conversation before. You're not going to be the last person. That means the last caller here before the two. In fact, let me do that. I'll call that number. Samson told Labropo, I was just getting ready to call you back because I don't think it was fair. I really appreciate you letting me do that. Go ahead, finish your point, and then we can close.
Yeah. So that we have problem is not problem that people will say the dad can't understand or he can't listen. It is people that he surrounded himself with. Let's take a typical example today. A woman that called and said Listen, we went at the Capitol building. People were hungry. Children stood over there from 6 o'clock, 5:30 this morning. Mr. To, just to put rice and eat. Our staple food in our country is rice. If Liberian men can eat thousands of food, if Liberian men don't put little rice in his mouth, that man will say, oh, whole day today, I have not eaten.
Oh, you take it right from my mouth. I can eat all the bread, anything, Chinese rice.
Yeah.
As long as I eat a pusawa, I tell you what, I eat all day, yo. Water said, I drink. So
Water said, I don't drink, Mr. To. Mr. To, engineering To. He was the party will say, I don't eat nothing.
Yeah, I don't eat nothing.
The children were cooking their food. The protest was very, very organized. The police, they were from 5 o'clock this morning. Police were on the street. The bread, they carried. Some of the protesters said, I saw it, I have those videos. I kept the video. They gave some of the bread to the police. When we came there, don't serve it. They gave us water. We should not meet them with our bread. Lastly, let me conclude, brother. So, the people went and wasted water on these people. They told yes, follow back car. They searched the car right there when they put up all the water police that was trained by the United States government, not any other government around the world, but United States government. They pulled down those water. They put everything. They touched the car. They told Yeke follow back car. I have the video. I don't have your Facebook page that or me, your messenger. Or you and my friend not on Facebook. I could send those pictures to you. These news guy, the press guy, the press officers that were there, you videotaped everything. When they took Yeke car from that Capitol building to the police station, they took out the bunker, they put arm inside. And the bottle there right at the police station, when you took the car, you inspect the car completely. Wow, gosh, enter the car. You know what they said? They started pressing the ball. Hey, come on now. Where are we heading? We are Liberia. When you check all over around it, I have some photos that I kept to prove to the Liberian people that other countries, when they have this protest, they can roast their meat and eat.
Okay,
where are we going? But brother, so thank you very much. You see, you and Afonso, when you're asking questions, you can get to the bottom part of that question and ask good. But I was a little bit disappointed with my lady this evening when he called. He said that word that he said this evening. He's our oldest brother, but I'm very disappointed in him.
He locked the man from Liberia. If I not so, I will go because he's a conservative. I'm going to go at him with my liberal view. But anyway, thank you, my brother. We appreciate it. Let me take this call.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Samson told LeBron Public folks, I'm going to get out of here now. I've been here for quite a while now. What's your name and where you're calling from? What's on your mind? Hello? I can't hear you. Maybe you got yourself muted. I'm going to call it off now. Can I? Okay. Okay, folks, Samson told LeBron Public Radio. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. We'll say thank you very much. We got Mr. Calon's number here, and hopefully we will contact him here sometime because I think he could be a wonderful, wonderful guest for us because basically what I really, because to engage him, he's not running away from anything. I mean, just for the 10, 15 minutes we were on, he wasn't running away from anything. I don't agree with most of the answers, but he wasn't shying away from anything. And that's the kinds of engagement you want. And he was not being evasive or any other kinds of stuff either. He gave it to you as it is. Even when I asked him from what perspective, they come up with this idea of Custer going to vacation, getting money for his school fee and all, what have you. And he just told us, that from experience, he himself had gone home. He didn't say he got money for school fee, but he been going home when he was here as a student. So perhaps they're trying to connect that. Okay, that's supposition, that's assumption, leaping over a wall. And this wall, when I bring Mr. Colon on next time, if hopefully I can get him, I will ask him to climb this wall, not to leap over it, because he's a human being. I don't want you to get hurt. Samson told folks, let me just copy his number here, and then I'll say thank you very much, folks. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. Those of you that have been with us here throughout, we say thank you, thank you. Not that you don't have anything to do on this Monday afternoon or Monday evening, but the fact that you're still with us, we appreciate it. And once again, I want to thank Mike Down to say thank him very much. I to say thank Mike, we appreciate it. I know it was late on our side, but thank you. And to all citizens back home that have these jobs, don't run away from Liberian Public Radio. It's a platform where you come and express yourself freely. We don't curse people, and we will protect you. We will make sure that anybody that I don't have control of what people write and think, but as long as people are going to be engaging you, making comment, verbal comment towards you, those comments going to have to be decent. They might not agree with you, but if they don't know how to put their comment in a respectful manner, that will be shut down completely. So if you're sedition, if you're a member of CDC, even Dr. Weir, if you listen to me, come on my platform, man. Hey, let's have conversation. Let's talk. That's all it is. Samson told LeBron Pablo. There we go. We say thank you very much. Turn in for Mr. Soul Show tomorrow. And good night, folks.
Okay.